Cricket.
Boost gives 3 times more stamina.
Boost is the secret of our energy.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 2 p.m. by the clock now, and the quorum being present, I call the meeting to order. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to the 90th Annual General Meeting of the company. I hope all our shareholders and their families are safe and in good health. The Annual General Meeting has been convened and is conducted through video conferencing means in accordance with the circulars issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the Securities Exchange Board of India, and other applicable circulars issued in this regard. The latest one being Circular number 10 of 2022, dated 28th of December 22, issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which allowed the companies to conduct the AGM through video conferencing or other audio-visual means till the 30th of September 2023. Your company has taken all steps to ensure that the shareholders are able to attend and vote at this AGM in a seamless manner. Your company has availed the services of the National Securities Depository Limited for the voting through remote e-voting, for participation in the AGM through video conferencing facility, and e-voting during the AGM. Members who need any assistance during the AGM with regard to the use of technology or otherwise can contact the helpline numbers mentioned at page 352 of the Integrated Annual Report. I'm pleased to inform you that your company has provided the facility of live webcast of these proceedings of the AGM. This AGM can therefore be viewed live by the members from remote locations by logging on the e-voting website of NSDL. I have joined the meeting from the registered office of the company in Mumbai. I will now introduce my fellow colleagues on the board who have joined the meeting. Starting with my extreme left, Mr. Ranjay Gulati, Independent Director of your company. The Board of Directors had appointed Mr. Ranjay Gulati as an additional director in the capacity of an independent director of the company with effect from 1st of April 2023. The appointment of Mr. Ranjay Gulati as an independent director of the company is subject to the approval by the shareholders at this AGM by means of a special resolution. On behalf of the Board of Directors and shareholders, I welcome Mr. Ranjay Gulati to his first AGM of the company as an independent director. Mr. Gulati comes with a rich understanding of business strategy and is a professor at Harvard Business School. He is an expert on leadership, strategy, and organizational growth. He has also chaired Advanced Management Program, the school's flagship senior leader executive program. We are delighted to have such an eminent scholar on the board of this company. Mr. Gulati's knowledge and deep understanding of cultivating a winning mindset while keeping purpose at the heart will surely help your company steer further ahead in its future fit journey. Next to him is Ms. Ashu Suyash, Independent Director of your company. She is also the chairperson of the Environmental, Social and Governance Committee of your company. Next to her is Mr. O.P. Bhatt, Independent Director of your company. He is also the chairman of the Stakeholders Relationship Committee and the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee of the company. Next to him is Mr. Rohit Java, whole-time director of your company. He is also a member of the management committee of your company. The board of directors had appointed Mr. Rohit Java as a whole-time director of the company with effect from 1st of April 2023 to 26th of June 2023, and as a successor to Mr. Sanjeev Mehta as the managing director and chief executive officer of the company for a period of 5 years with effect from 27th of June 2023 to 26th of June 2028. The appointment of Mr. Rohit Java as a whole-time director and managing director of and chief executive officer of the company is subject to the approval by the shareholders at this AGM by means of ordinary resolutions. On behalf of the board of directors and shareholders, I welcome Mr. Rohit Java to his first AGM of the company. Mr. Java started his career with HUL as a management trainee in 1988. He has a proven track record of sustained business results across India, Southeast Asia, North Asia. As EVP of North Asia and Chairman Unilever China, Mr. Java helped transform the business into Unilever's third largest business globally. He developed a distinct strategic agenda for China. He championed digitization and premiumization and steered the business very capably through the COVID crisis. As the chairman of Unilever Philippines, he led the business to become one of the top 10 markets for Unilever globally. Mr. Java has a deep understanding of the business landscape, particularly in Asia, and has led the transformation of Unilever businesses in China and the Philippines. We are certain that with his astute business acumen and growth mindset, Mr. Java will take your company to the next level of performance. Next to him is Mr. Ritesh Tiwari, Executive Director, Finance, IT, and the Chief Financial Officer of your company. He is also a member of the management committee of your company. Now to my extreme right is Mr. Leo Puri, Independent Director of your company. Next to him is Ms. Kalpana Morparia, Independent Director of your company. She is also the chairperson of the audit committee of your company. Next to her is Dr. Sanjeev Mishra, Independent Director of your company and the chairman of the nomination and remuneration committee of your company. Next to him is Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of your company. As you're aware, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta will be stepping down as the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of your company with effect from the close of business hours today on account of his retirement from HUL. Sanjeev took over as the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of your company in October 2013, leading the business through a period of sustained growth. At the heart of his success mantra has been the proposition of long-term value creation anchored by growth, high-performance anatomy, and distinctive capabilities. He introduced several transformative business programs such as Dial Up the Big Q, Winning in Many Indias, to make the business more consumer-centric, agile, and resilient. He kick-started Reimagine HUL agenda by leveraging data, harnessing the latest technologies, and designing business models to redefine how your company engages with consumers, customers, and the way the business operates. He has led the business into future growth segments with several strategic mergers and acquisitions, such as the amalgamation of GSK Consumer Healthcare into the company, one of the biggest mergers in the history of the FMCG industry in the country. Under his leadership, various programs such as the Hindustan Unilever Foundation, Project Shakti, Project Prabhat, and Suvidha scale new heights, reinforcing his commitment to responsible growth. He actively championed the diversity agenda, making your company an even more inclusive organization. Sanjeev is one of those rare leaders who has the ability to envision the future, drive change and transformation at scale. In the last decade, at the helm, he has truly embodied the spirit of the company. During his tenure, the business more than doubled its turnover, significantly improved its profitability, and the market capitalization of the company increased more than 4 times. With his foresight, Sanjeev has led your company to become a high-performing and a future-fit business. On behalf of the board of directors and shareholders, I would express our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to Sanjeev for his immense contribution and service that he has rendered to the company in his capacity as the CEO and Managing Director. I'm now going to request Sanjeev to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Paranjpe. Dear shareholders, namaskar. I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve this company as the CEO or Chairman and Managing Director for the last 10 years. I deem it as a big honor and privilege. The last decade had its fair share of challenges. With your unflinching support and confidence, we navigated the storms and have made your company stronger, much more agile and nimbler, and future fit, both from the perspective of portfolio and capabilities. Over the 10-year period, our returns to you have surpassed both the market index as well as the FMCG index. I'm a big believer in the India story. I do believe that this decade and beyond will be India's decade. Your company is very well positioned to harness the benefit of India's growth. My confidence in Hindustan Unilever also stems from the exceptional talent we possess in the management committee and across the company. I'm very pleased to see Mr. Rohit Java succeed me as the CEO and Managing Director. I'm sure you will accord him the same high level of support that you gave me all these years. I wish Hindustan Unilever enduring success and wish each one of you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. And I'll continue with introducing the remaining members of the board. Next to Mr. Mehta is Mr. Dev Bajpai, Executive Director, Legal and Corporate Affairs, and the Company Secretary of your company. He's also a member of the Management Committee of your company. Now, Dr. Ashish Gupta, Independent Director of your company, has expressed his inability to attend the AGM due to pre-commitments. With your permission, leave of absence has been granted to Dr. Gupta. Dr. Gupta has also communicated to us about his decision to step down as an independent director of the company with effect from close of business hours today. On behalf of the board of directors and shareholders, I would like to express our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Gupta for the valuable service and guidance provided by him during his tenure as the independent director of the company. As you're aware, Mr. Willem Owen, Executive Director Supply Chain, was elevated as the Chief Procurement Officer for Unilever globally, consequent to which he had to step down as the whole-time director and as a member of the management committee of the company. I would like to thank Willem for his leadership and invaluable contribution made by him. Mr. Yogesh Mishra succeeded Willem as the member of the management committee with effect from 1st of September 2022. I'd also like to inform the shareholders that Mr. Anirudh Godbole, audit partner of Messrs. BSR and Company LLP, who has signed the year's auditor's report and annual accounts, Mr. S.N. Ananthasubramaniam of Messrs. S.N. Ananthasubramaniam and Company, secretarial auditors of the company, Mr. Rashesh Choksi, partner of Messrs. R.A. and Company, cost auditors of the company, and Mr. Sanjay Butch, partner of Messrs. Crawford Bailey and Company, solicitors of your company, have also joined this meeting through video conferencing. I welcome them all to this AGM. I've also been joined in this meeting by members of the management committee of the company. Mr. Deepak Subramaniam, Executive Director Home Care, Mr. Madhusudan Rao, Executive Director Beauty and Personal Care, Mr. Srinandan Sundaram, Executive Director Foods and Refreshment, Ms. Anuradha Razdan, Executive Director Human Resources, Dr. Vibhav Sansgiri, Executive Director Research and Development, Mr. Kedar Lele, Executive Director Customer Development, and Mr. Yogesh Mishra, Executive Director Supply Chain. I welcome them all to this AGM. I will now proceed with the agenda of the meeting. The notice convening the meeting, the report of the Board of Directors and the financial statements for the financial year ending 31st of March 2023 were circulated to all the members in compliance with the relevant circulars of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and I take them as read. Since this AGM is conducted through audiovisual means, the requirement for appointment of proxy and related compliances are not applicable. The company has received 7 representations under Section 113 of the Companies Act 2013 from Unilever PLC and its affiliates, covering a total of 145 crores 44 lakhs 12,858 shares. As required under the Companies Act 2013, the Register of Directors and the key managerial personnel and the shareholdings, along with the Register of Contracts or arrangements in which the directors are interested, are available for inspection on the website of the NSDL. The auditor's report on the annual financial statements of the company for the financial year ended 31st March 2023 does not contain any qualifications, observations, or comments on financial transactions or matter which have any adverse effect on the functioning of the company. In terms of Section 145 of the Companies Act 2013, only the qualifications, observations, or comments mentioned in the auditor's report which have any adverse effect on the functioning of the company shall be read at the general meeting. Since there are no such qualifications, observations, or comments, the auditor's report is not required to be read. The company has provided the facility of e-voting to the shareholders of the company to exercise their right to vote on the resolutions proposed to be passed at the AGM. I'm now going to request Mr. Dev Bajpai to brief you on the e-voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Paranjpe. As per the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and SEBI Listing Obligations and Disclosure Requirements Regulations 2015, your company had provided the facility of remote e-voting to the members through NSDL e-voting system to enable the members to cast their vote electronically. The remote e-voting facility was open from 9 a.m. on Wednesday, 21st June 2023 till 5 p.m. on Sunday, 25th June 2023. The detailed procedure of e-voting is also mentioned in note number 9 of the notice of the AGM on page number 350 of the integrated annual report. Those members who have not cast their vote through remote e-voting process have been provided with the facility to cast their vote during the AGM using the e-voting website of NSDL. Mr. S.N. Ananthasubramanian, practicing company secretary, has been appointed as the scrutinizer for the e-voting process. All shareholders who have joined this meeting are placed on mute mode by default to ensure smooth functioning and transmission of the meeting's proceedings. During the question and answer session, the chairman will announce the names of shareholders who have registered themselves as speakers for this meeting in a sequence. The line of the respective shareholder shall be unmuted by the moderator when their name is called out by the chairman. Shareholders, while asking questions or seeking clarifications, can put their video on. In case any shareholder is facing any technical issue with the video transmission, they can raise their question through audio mode. During the meeting, if shareholders are facing any other problem with the transmission, they can contact the helpline numbers mentioned in the notice of the meeting. I now hand over the proceedings to the chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bajpai. The flow of the AGM is now as follows. I will first proceed with my AGM speech, and thereafter we will move to the resolutions as set out in the notice of the AGM, and I will put the resolutions to vote. Then we will move to our discussions and Q&A session. Shareholders can vote during the course of the meeting or after the question and answer session is completed. The combined results of remote e-voting and the e-voting at the venue of the meeting will be announced and made available on the website of the company, on the website of NSDL, and also the website of the stock exchanges within the timeline prescribed under law. With your consent, I will now go ahead with this flow of the AGM, proceeding with the excerpts of my speech. As is customary at our AGM, I would like to share with you my views on a subject that I believe is most relevant in the current environment for your company. I have chosen the topic Transforming to Win in the New India. And the same is available at the website of the company and on the website of NSDL. I will now read excerpts from this speech. Albert Einstein had said, "In the midst of every crisis lies opportunity." The world has braved many a crisis, and every time humanity has come out stronger. Today we are facing yet another challenge. According to the World Economic Forum, over the long term, the failure to mitigate and adapt to climate change, natural disasters, and extreme weather events, biodiversity loss, and ecosystem collapse are perceived as being the severest global risks. These are likely to be fueled by an era that is characterized by low growth, low investment, and low cooperation, the onset of which is already being felt by major economies across the world. Against this challenging backdrop, India appears to be the silver lining. India has been the fastest growing economy in the last decade and is touted to become the world's third largest economy by 2027. A few factors will help the India journey. The first is favorable demographics. A growing young population can often translate into a growing economy, and India, with one of the world's largest populations of youth, can reap the benefits of its demographic dividend in the years to come. Second is rising consumption. India is witnessing a significant rise in consumption due to growing affluence, urbanization, and the rapidly growing nuclear family structure. Third is the enviable digital public infrastructure. India is today well poised to lead the digital revolution. The India Stack, a one-of-its-kind digital public infrastructure based on identity, payments, and consent-based data sharing, is a case in point. India is already, with its booming online shopper base, is already set to overtake the United States in the next couple of years. This means that India has both the infrastructure and the audience to ride the digital wave. Fourth is India's position as a favored investment destination. During the pandemic, the manufacturing industry witnessed multiple challenges. Resilient supply chains were the need of the hour, and this provided an opportunity for India. India's skilled and semi-skilled workforce is a valuable human resource. Add to this several policy decisions by the government, and initiatives such as Skill India and Digital India provide a fertile ground for investors. And finally, a growing culture of innovation and enterprise. It is innovation that drives productivity and growth for a nation. In fact, we have steadily been rising up the rankings in the Global Innovation Index, going from the 81st spot in 2015 to the 40th rank in 2022. However, we must be cognizant of the challenges that, if unaddressed, may turn this India opportunity into an obstacle. First is boosting employment and employability. India's growing workforce needs to be provided with relevant opportunities to be productive and contribute to the economy. Our growth in recent years has primarily been productivity-led, while the employment has increased only marginally. As a nation, we need to ensure a significant increase in both formal employment and enhanced livelihood opportunities. This will require an enormous focus on building relevant skills. Second, agriculture and allied sectors. Currently, nearly 60% of the country's population is in agriculture, but it contributes to only 1/5 of the GDP. On the one hand, there is a need to increase agricultural productivity, and on the other, we need to move people out of agriculture-dependent livelihoods. Third, participation of women in the workforce. India cannot hope to grow without enhancing the participation of women in the workforce. In India, according to recent World Bank statistics, women represented only 24% of the workforce. IMF studies indicate that gender parity will boost India's GDP by a significant 27%. Fourth, creating a healthy society. For a nation to truly prosper, its people need to stay healthy, have a better quality of life, and thrive. India today is ranked 132nd amongst a total of 191 nations on the 2021-22 Human Development Index, lagging behind neighboring countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Indonesia and Bhutan. India will also need to address the widespread inequality that exists. Fifth, ensuring sustainable growth. Finally, as climate change looms large, it is imperative that the nation decouples its growth from environmental impact. Clearly, we will need, as all stakeholders, to come together to create the India of the future. The government is investing a staggering 10 lakh crores in capital expenditure. This needs to be supported by private investments that will create a multiplier effect and propel the nation on an accelerated growth path. At HUL, we will continue to contribute towards India's growth journey. Now, Hindustan Unilever Limited, since its incorporation 90 years ago, has integrated the needs of society into business. We are continuously transforming to keep in step with a fast-changing India, and there are three key forces that are pivotal to driving the HUL of tomorrow. First, recognizing that building human capital is our biggest strength, and developing talent and meritocracy has been at the heart of our success. We realized the importance of driving gender parity in our workforce early on. We've been making significant strides in enabling a gender diverse and an equitable workforce across all levels. Our perseverance in ensuring a gender balanced workforce has been recognized, and in 2022 and 23, we were recognized amongst the best places to work for women. More recently, we've taken our learnings over the years to improve gender balance in our sales teams as well as the factory shop floor. Now, while becoming gender balanced is an important first step to truly benefit from the diversity, we need to create an inclusive culture as well. We are fostering an inclusive and empowering culture that goes beyond gender to include persons with disabilities and talent from the LGBTQI+ populace. While recruiting the best talent is crucial, we also know that today's ever-evolving world demands constant skilling and reskilling. We continue to build a culture of continuous learning across levels. We've also initiated several industry-first practices for the larger corporate ecosystem. The second key aspect will be to enable the business to win in the future is to build capacity to adapt and lead change. We thus embarked on Reimagine HUL, an ambitious agenda of deeply embedding technology across the entire value chain. Over time, this digital backbone became a source of competitive advantage. Today, a robust digital public infrastructure, the deployment of 5G, increasing smartphone penetration in the country can provide a major tailwind to a business such as ours. To ensure we lead this change, we are already on the journey to becoming an intelligent enterprise. Finally, underscoring our future-fit capabilities is the belief that in order to prosper, businesses need to look beyond creating shareholder value and create value for every stakeholder across the value chain. In 2020, we embedded our purpose into our business strategy itself. We called it our Unilever Compass. We are determined to end the debate whether there is a trade-off between purpose and performance. Case in point, in the last decade alone, HUL has added nearly 33,000 crores as incremental turnover and over 9,500 crores as incremental EBITDA. We've taken several measures to decouple our environmental footprint from our business growth. For instance, we've announced our commitments to reduce the use of virgin plastic and use more recycled plastic, make packaging 100% reusable, recyclable, and compostable, and to collect more plastic than the business sells by 2025. In India, we have collected more plastic waste than the plastic we use in our packaging of our finished products consecutively for the last 2 years. Through the HUL Foundation, we continue to build water conservation potential and enhance water-dependent livelihoods along with our partners. Till date, we've been able to create a collective water conservation potential of more than 2.6 trillion, that is equivalent to the drinking water needs of the country for nearly 2 years. These are some of our interventions that directly tackle environmental change. However, there are other areas that deserve our attention as well. We are, for example, committed to source 100% of our key agricultural crops sustainably and have been on a journey to impart knowledge and expertise in sustainable agricultural practices to our partner farmers. We've also made commitments that directly enhance the livelihoods of our people. We realize that when people earn a living wage or an income, there is a direct benefit to the economy. We are committed to paying a living wage that is significantly higher than the legally mandated minimum wage in our own business, and also to ensure that everyone working across our value chain earns at least a living wage or an income by 2030. At the same time, we strive to build communities and enhance livelihoods across our value chain. The comprehensive community development program around our manufacturing sites, Prabhat, has reached 9 million people to date. Another example is a micro-entrepreneur program for women, Project Shakti, that consists of over 190,000 Shakti Ammas today. To conclude, George Bernard Shaw had said, "Don't wait for the right opportunity, create it." And this is India's time to shine. The journey will, however, not be without its share of challenges. And as a nation growing in the world with depleting national resources, we will need to be mindful that this growth is sustainable. At the same time, we will need to ensure that this growth is equitable and leaves no one behind. Hindustan Unilever has been a part of the nation's journey over the years and will continue to play its part in realizing the dream of New India through everything that we can do. We hope that in our very little way, we are able to positively impact the planet and the people and partner this great nation in its journey. After all, it's forever been our belief that what's good for India is good for HUL. With that, I now turn to the official business of the meeting by requesting Mr. Dev Bajpai to give a brief of the resolutions forming part of the notice.
Thank you, Mr. Paranjpe. There are total 10 resolutions proposed to be passed in this AGM, and the same form part of the notice of the AGM at page number 348 of the integrated annual report. Since the notice has already been circulated to the members and the resolutions have been put to vote through remote e-voting, I am taking the resolutions as read. The resolutions are not required to be proposed and seconded. For the benefit of members attending this meeting, I will now provide a brief of the resolutions. Item number 1 of the notice pertains to adoption of audited financial statements, including audited consolidated financial statements for the financial year ended 31st March 2023, and the report of Board of Directors and Auditors report thereon. Item number 2 of the notice is with respect to confirmation of payment of interim dividend and declaration of final dividend. The Board of Directors at the meeting held on 21st October 2022 had approved interim dividend payment of ₹17 for every equity share of ₹1 each, which was paid on 17th November 2022. Further, the Board of Directors at their meeting held on 27th April 2023 have proposed a final dividend of ₹22 for every equity share of ₹1 each for the financial year ended 31st March 2023. Item number 3 to 5 of the notice are with respect to reappointment of directors liable to retire by rotation. As per the Articles of Association of your company and the statutory requirement of the Companies Act 2013, all directors other than the managing director and independent directors retire at the AGM each year. Item number 6 of the notice is with respect to appointment of Mr. Ranjay Gulati as an independent director of the company. The Board of Directors, at its meeting held on 10th March 2023, had approved the appointment of Mr. Ranjay Gulati as an additional director in the capacity of an independent director of the company with effect from 1st April 2023. It is proposed to appoint Mr. Ranjay Gulati as an independent director with effect from 1st April 2023 for a period of 5 years, that is till 31st March 2028. Item number 7 of the notice is with respect to appointment of Mr. Rohit Java as whole-time director of the company. The Board of Directors, at its meeting held on 10th March 2023, had approved the appointment of Mr. Rohit Java as whole-time director of the company with effect from 1st April 2023 up to 26th June 2023. It is proposed to appoint Mr. Rohit Java as a whole-time director of the company with effect from 1st April 2023 up to 26th June 2023. Item number 8 of the notice is with respect to appointment of Mr. Rohit Java as the Managing Director and CEO of the company. The Board of Directors, at its meeting held on 10th March 2023, had approved the appointment of Mr. Rohit Java as MD and CEO of the company in succession to Mr. Sanjeev Mehta with effect from 27 June 2023. It is proposed to appoint Mr. Rohit Java as the MD and CEO of the company with effect from 27 June 2023 for a period of 5 years till 26th June 2028. Item number 9 of the notice relates to material related party transaction. As per the provisions of Regulation 23 of SEBI Listing Obligations and Disclosure Requirements Regulation 2015, prior approval of shareholders is required by means of an ordinary resolution for all material related party transactions, even if such transactions are in the ordinary course of business and at arm's length. For this purpose, a transaction with a related party shall be considered material if such transactions or transactions to be entered into individually or taken together with previous transactions during the financial year exceed rupees 1,000 crores or 10% of annual consolidated turnover of the company as per the last audited financial statements of the company, whichever is lower. In 2013, the company had entered into a comprehensive technology trademark license and central services agreement, hereinafter referred to as license agreement, with Unilever Group for a period of 10 years. The agreement granted HUL the right to use Unilever-owned technology, trademarks, corporate logo, and gave access to central services provided by the Unilever Group. In view of the agreement expiring by flux of time, Unilever had requested for a review of the current arrangement. A detailed evaluation and due diligence led by senior management was undertaken. The audit committee was updated from time to time on the progress of the evaluation and the due diligence exercise. The recommendations and suggestions of the audit committee were duly noted and acted upon by the senior management during the course of the exercise. Based on the advice of the audit committee, your company engaged the services of Messrs. Deloitte Haskins & Sells LLP for conducting an independent benchmarking exercise of the contract rate of trademark, technology, corporate logo, royalty, and fees for central services in our industry between unrelated parties. The benchmarking exercise showed that the proposed rates are competitive at or below median within the comparable benchmarks. After taking into account the business requirements of the company, benefits received by the company, detailed evaluation and due diligence led by senior management, the royalty and central service fees rates paid by similar FMCG peers, the external consultants report showing that the rates are competitive within the benchmark range, and approval and recommendation of the audit committee, the new royalty and central services arrangement effective from 1st February 2023 for a period of 5 years was duly approved by the board at its meeting held on 19 January 2023. Approval of the shareholders is sought for material related party transaction with Unilever Europe Business Centre BV, a fellow subsidiary of the company, towards provision of central services for a period of 5 years commencing from financial year 2023-2024 to financial year 2027-2028, individually and/or in the aggregate, up to an amount not exceeding rupees 2,000 crores in a financial year, provided, however, that the said contracts, arrangements, transactions shall be carried out on an arm's length basis and in the ordinary course of business of the company. Item number 10 of the notice relates to the ratification of the remuneration payable to Messrs. R.A. Shah and Company, R.A. and Company, cost accountants, who have been appointed to conduct the audit of the cost records of the company for the financial year ending 31st March 2024. I now hand over the proceedings of the meeting to the chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bajpai. I now invite those members who would like to offer comments, make observations and seek clarifications, if any, on any of the report and accounts. A list of speakers who have registered themselves has already been placed before me. I'm now going to call out the names of the members as per the order in this list. Now, in the interest of all the members, may I request the speakers to keep their comments brief. Ideally adhere to a time limit of a maximum of 2 minutes and, if possible, avoid repeating questions which someone else has asked. This will allow all our members who've registered to get an opportunity to share their views and seek clarifications. I will respond to the questions and comments after all the speaker shareholders have spoken. As you're aware, the company believes that brands with purpose grow, people with purpose. During the year, our purposeful brands have created some. Sorry, just give me a moment. I'm going to call out the first speaker, Mr. Jaideep Bakshi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bakshi. You are now live in the meeting. You may switch on your microphone.
Yes.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Managing Director, CFO, and Board of Directors. Myself, Jaideep Bakshi, connecting from my residence in Kolkata. So I convey my thanks to Mr. Dev Bajpai, our Company Secretary, for giving me an opportunity to express my views and presenting a detailed annual report. Also thanks to Mr. Milan and Uma Madam and others in our Secretarial Department for maintaining cordial relation and helping out with our queries. Sir, I also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, our outgoing CEO and MD, for taking our company to #1 in FMCG business. And also welcome Mr. Rohit Jawa as our future CEO and hope he will carry our company to our next level. Sir, your initial speech was very much informative, and also the video presentation before the video conference was also an educative one. Sir, remarkable feat by a company by putting up a strong result with turnover growth of 16% and PAT of 9,962 crores in these geopolitical uncertainties prevailing worldwide and the inflation effect. So congrats also once again for the final dividend of the rupees 22 and the interim one of 17%, an increase of 15% compared to last year. Sir, I have already sent my queries beforehand and just want to add 1 or 2 points. Sir, any new innovative solution and cost management for packaging of our products. And congrats for the solution to address the nation's water challenges and also regarding the CSR activities, reaching out to the needy and through different projects. And also for the awards mentioned in pages 40. And sir, lastly, I have supported all the resolutions and I have full faith in our management and hope will continue to deliver more positive brands and progress in its future fit journey. Thank you, sir, and all stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Bakshi, for the compliments and also for your support. Now request Mr. Sharat Kumar Shah from Mumbai to share his comments and questions.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shah. You are now live in the meeting. You may unmute your microphone and video and proceed to speak. Mr. Shah?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Shah, you need to speak up a bit.
Okay. Can you see me, sir?
It
Hello?
is a little faint.
Okay, okay. Sir, your speech, when I was hearing, I was slightly confused. I thought whether Nitin is speaking or Narendra Modi is speaking. Only then when I seen your side, then I realized it is Nitin Paranjpe is speaking. Now, sir, our CEO of company becomes a CEO of years of business standards. That is a great achievement by company, by Sanju Mehta, and I got an opportunity to meet him around 2 months back in the Nehru Center. And very important thing, what I found when I look into annual report, the page number 176, the first time in 10 years, their performance is increased from 5% to 25%, which was falling from 323% to 5% in last 9 years, and which is now 5 times, that is 500%. And it is not our performance which is important. What is important is the first time in the history of Hindustan Unilever, our performance above Nifty, which was lower for long time. So what I feel that my always say what dividend is due, what is share price, what is that is not important. I will see that my company's performance is always above Nifty. That is very important. And this time, what I found, the printing of annual report, we have changed the style, and it is absolutely excellent. It is hard pages. So keep these things continuously. So if I refer page number 140, energy intensity per rupee of turnover is reduced. So it definitely benefit us and the shareholder and the company. Now you also talked about the wages. You said about the living wages, not the minimum wages. I do agree with that because it is not feasible or possible for us to give a $15 per hour minimum wage like USA. So our policy is fair wage for living is a good thing, and the same idea government has Maharashtra has picked up, because what happens, a dabbawala cannot have a fair wage in living wage, and he cannot have house. So finally, Maharashtra government says will give house free to dabbawalas. That's a good thing. And it is not that he only HUL does good things, even government also does good things. He now Surf Excel sales is 1 billion. That's a good thing, sir. And which is 9% of our total revenue. And what is my observation, or when I was seeing CNBC 18 and looking what Sanjeev Mehta is saying on the TV, he says the Durban taste in Mumbai, what is manufactured, and what is manufactured in Punjab is entirely different. So my suggestion is that in Mumbai, Durban of all states should be available so that we can taste Durban of all states sitting in Mumbai itself. That's it. If you can do that, I will be very happy, sir. And what is my observation, sir? When I look into the balance sheet, I don't think only about the shareholders. I think of the key management people. And what is my observation, sir? Your shareholding and company secretary shareholding stagnant for last 22 years. So definitely you must look into this. Why? You see, you can keep our shareholding stagnant, but not the chairman and company secretary shareholding stagnant. So please look into that aspect also, sir. And basically what I'm looking, if I refer page number 23, 22, our performance last 3 years is excellent. Some key ratios slightly lower within tolerance. EVA at the maintained level, so excellent. In last year, last 10 years, dividend is higher and higher. Close to share price is 463. Now it is 2559, and I will tell you the price of Hindustan Unilever in 2000 was 2001 was only 240. So all from our angle, definitely so shareholders are getting benefit and that is why another thing that what I observed that you are giving dividend equal to earning per share, and this is first time somebody has copied your idea and the Voltas has given dividend equal to earning per share. So if all Tata companies start giving this, everybody will be happy, sir. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak, sir. And another thing, sir, 2 points are left out. Another second mail, sir, page number 363, that says that is a graphical representation is there about HUL deploy new age technique to spot trends earlier. I have not followed at all this graphical presentation. It is not at all clear to me. So if you can explain me, I will be very happy. And another thing is you have adopted new age technique so that you can predict what is the trend of our products. So what I wanted, what you are going to do in future, that I'm not bothered. But what is my requirement is the Intolekha is which are last 10 years with us, and whether in last 10 years, whether it has performed to our satisfaction or not, or whether whatever we have invested in Intolekha, whether we have recovered or not, and finally, whether Intolekha is effective to the people who use it, whether their hairs are gone. And if it is good, then definitely I will recommend that you should also use Intolekha, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. I'm sorry your line wasn't clear right through, but I will attempt to try and respond later on to what I did get. I would now request Mrs. Surekha Sharat Kumar Shah to,
Hello, sir. Now I have
speak,
already taken
and
all the
to
points.
everyone else, I would say, if we can keep it brief, just out of respect for everyone else, it will just allow me the opportunity to respond to each one of you properly at the end. Mrs. Surekha Sharat Kumar Shah.
Sir, he will not speak because already I have spoken all the points. Thank you.
All right, thank you. May we now have Mr. Arun Kumar Bopanna from Mumbai.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bopanna. You are now live on the screen. Request you to unmute your mic and camera and start with your questions.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. I endorse all the compliments given by the first speaker, Mr. Bakshi. And my questions are, what are the plans for alternative proteins, cultured meat, without sacrificing flavor, nutrition, and quality? And now a lot of startups have come in the food business, Ragi, etc., in Bangalore. Is HUL planning to take over, merge with some of the companies so that you have a direct gain market share, reduce cost of operations, etc.? And what is the focus on saving waste, reducing carbon emissions, improving people's lives to make sustainable living? And are you planning a lightweight bottles for medium packs so that you reduce plastic waste and stay on target for the net zero carbon by when?
Thank you.
And any plan?
Thank you, Mr. Bopanna.
Sorry?
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. Now, this year has been declared as the year of millets. The Indian story, the Prime Minister declared millets as a year of millets. So, what is Hindustan Lever doing on that? And what is the total capacity of solar and wind energy? And what is the total created, cumulative, and collected water potential by HUL? And people, planet positive, does it come at a cost of environment? What are the decisive actions taken by HUL to reduce the carbon emission? And what is the employee's average age, employee by gender, and retention rate? With this, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bopanna. I now move to Mr. Aspi Besania from Mumbai.
Good afternoon, Mr. Besania. Your mic is being unmuted now. You can please start your video and start speaking.
Sir, can you see me and hear me?
We can hear you, not yes. Now we can see you as well.
Sir, at the outset, I congratulate the management on crossing turnover of 60,000 crore. So when can I expect 1 lakh crore turnover? 60,000 was crossed after 90 years. So why no physical AGM? So next year, even if the government extends the date, please hold a physical AGM. The Q4 top line and PBT were lower compared to Q3. What are the reasons for that? Inventories and receivables have also increased year on year. So in chairman's speech, you mentioned about demographic dividend from population. Is it demographic dividend or demographic liability since unemployment is increasing? So page 22. PBT as percentage of turnover has reduced slowly over 3 years. How do you see this figure going forward? The Oziva products look quite expensive. Why should any non-veg person have Oziva if better proteins can be had from chicken and that too cheaply? This is probably for vegetarians. Is there any price control on any of our products? So how do you use artificial intelligence for our company? Is it contributing to our profitability in any way? So there is another meeting also, so I would like Mr. Dev Bajpai to send the replies. So thank you very much and all the best for the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Besania. I now move to Mr. Manoj Kumar Gupta.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gupta. You are now live in the meeting. You may please switch on your mic and video and start with your questions.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Yes. Yeah. Good afternoon, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, fellow shareholders. My name is Manoj Kumar Gupta. I have joined this meeting from Calcutta. Sir, first of all, I thanks to you for your good, excellent speech, for the inspirable speech to the investors. And I thanks to, we are very sorry to hear that our beloved MD is going today, and this is his last AGM, and he's going and he's leaving us. And we wish to God for his health, good health in good sound and long life in a good health and prosperous, safe, long life. And I believe that he will always be ready to advise us in any circumstances because he has served in a company in better manner. And I warm welcome to our new MD and believe that he will follow the legacy of our present MD. And I thanks to the company secretary and his team, especially Ms. Raj Gopalan, that who has always helped us to join this meeting through meeting. Thanks for your dividend. How you face the competition in beauty business? You have a brand of Lakme, so how you face the competition? Every day there is a new company comes in like a Sugar, Oriflame and other companies, and how you face the competition from Patanjali? in your business. पतंजलि है, बाबा रामदेव योग कराते कराते सर बिजनेस में आ गए. पहले उन्होंने दुनिया को कहा योग करो, अब दुनिया योग करने लगी तो बाबा जी बोले मैं बिजनेस करूंगा, आप लोग योग करो, मैं बिजनेस चालू करूंगा. So now we have started every business. So how you face the competition, sir, and how you will reward to the investors? HUL is the first company to issue the bonus debenture in the country. After that, several companies are issued. So how you will reward to the investors? Because around 20 years back you have rewarded to the shareholders. So how you will reward? And sir, in ice cream, Amul is saying that Amul is the real ice cream. So how you face the competition with the stabilized branded ice cream and local players? If you will go any state, you will find one their local brand, like is MP Chhattisgarh Dinsa. MP Chhattisgarh and Odisha, there is a Dinsa brand. And now the Vadilal is giving also competition. Mother Dairy is also competition. Mother Dairy is also saying that real ice cream. So how you face this competition? And sir, why are you not opening your own showrooms in some tier 1 or tier 2 cities to attract the people to buy your products from your own showroom? And give some discount coupon to the shareholders that they can also buy the products of the company under your from the any branch or dealer. And I believe that company will more progress and more deliver to the investors in future also, and think about to reward the shareholders. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Gupta, may I now ask Mr. Dharmesh Praveen Vakil from Mumbai to ask his questions and make any observations.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vakil. You are now on the live screen. You may please unmute your microphone and camera and start with your questions.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Vakil, we can hear you.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes, we can see you as well.
Oh, so lovely and so kind of you. A very warm and cordial good afternoon to everybody. I'm Dharmesh Vakil, as it is spoken from Mumbai. I will be very brief, point by point in all my queries. I have made you also. First of all, I understand that the new royalty and central services are going to increase from 2.65% to 3.45%. It is on a very higher side on our turnover, which will be an increase in outflow of approximately 500 CR INR. I request the parent company to use this in our own motherland, in our India itself, for R&D, technology upgradation, or in the new businesses. Why so much huge money is going from our mother soil to up countries? It will be of immense help to the Indian economy in terms of business opportunity and job creation. See, and it will also help and boost our basic fundament of make in India and made in India, so that we can be on the top of the world like Vishwa Guru. Just like corporate social responsibilities, that is CSR, you must immediately start and initiate corporate shareholders responsibilities activities. That is also CSR. Third point, kindly please arrange for our visit of all the factories pan India, one after the another. Secondly, I very strongly object your time limit restrictions for the shareholders. It is highly commendable and unfortunate. In any parliament of any country, such time limits are not existing. Then why here only? What about the rights issue? We are very eager to get some good fruits and returns from our investment. At the same time, you also invite us in all your events, product launching functions, and other activities. I also endorse what my predecessor has said about the discount coupons in our own showroom. And why you not hold the physical meeting? Now the COVID is all over, worldwide it is over. Even the WHO has also declared it is no more a pandemic some last month. Then why we are very eager to see you personally. आपके सबका मुखारबिंद का दर्शन होने पर मुझे धन्यता प्राप्त होगी. And at the same time, I congratulate and I thank our entire secretarial team, our technical team, under the leadership of my very good friend Mr. Ashish Shela. With this, I sum up, and I hope then you will implement my suggestions. See, after all, this is our Jeevan Mudi, what we have invested. And to the extent of our shareholding, we are the owners of the company. You should appreciate our emotions, feelings, and expressions and do accordingly. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Krishna to all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vakil. May I request Mr. Om Prakash Kejriwal from Calcutta.
Good afternoon, Mr. Kejriwal. You are now on the live screen. You may please switch on your microphone and camera and start with your questions.
Mr. Kejriwal?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Sirji, and good afternoon, everybody attending this AGM. Myself, Om Prakash Kejriwal, your equity shareholder from Kolkata, a city of joy. Thank you for providing me the platform to speak something before you. Thanks to your secretarial department, especially Milind sir and Uma madam, for helping me in registration as a speaker shareholder. Sirji, this is my first AGM due to virtual. Though I am your very old shareholder, it is just an opportunity for me to attend this AGM sitting in Kolkata. New technology का कमाल है सर जी. If possible, please follow this virtual AGM in next year also. For your kind information, I attended AGM of Brook Bond in Kolkata 30-40 years back. And thereafter, this is my first AGM of Hindustan Unilever. सर जी, wow, what a performance! आपने तो दिल खुश कर दिया सर जी. बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको, सारे बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स को, सभी एम्प्लॉइज को, फॉर दिस टाइप ऑफ गुड परफॉर्मेंस. On with equity of rupees 235 crore, our turnover is 58154 crore on external basis, and our profit after tax is 9962 crore. Around 10,000 crore का profit हमने जो है अर्न किया है सर. It means EPS is rupees 42.40 on face value of rupees 1, and dividend is rupees 39. Means 92% distribution of our net profit. Thank you once again for excellent performance and super distribution. Sirji, our country's population is 140 crore, and your every product is a darling of every Indian citizen. From Monday, from morning to night, starting from hand wash, close up, Lux, then Rin, then Surf, then Kisan Soup, then Red Label in our breakfast, then Kisan Sauce, then Kisan Jam, and then Vim Bar. This is, and then Pond's beauty product, and then Horlicks, which you have taken some time back. आप तो मॉर्निंग से नाइट तक हमारे घर पे छा गए सर जी. कहते हैं ना कि वाइफ के बिना जो है एक दिन हम लोग रह सकते हैं, लेकिन आपके प्रोडक्ट के बिना हम एक मिनट भी नहीं रह सकते. ये हमारी स्थिति हो गई. आपने धीरे धीरे करके हम लोग के घर में ऐसे एंट्री मारी है कि हम आपके बिना रह नहीं सकते. तो थैंक यू फॉर मेकिंग आवर लाइफ healthy and beautiful by supplying good quality of products. Thank you. Takeover of Horlicks brand from GSK Consumer Healthcare. Sometimes back, you have merged GSK Consumer Healthcare in our company. It was a very good and bold decision. लेकिन सर जी जब से आपने टेक ओवर किया है हमारा फेवरेट ब्रांड रॉयल केशर बादाम हॉर्लिक्स ये मार्केट से आउट हो गया है. इसका क्या कारण है सर जी? ये थोड़ा बताइएगा. कब तक आप लोग इसको रिलॉन्च करने वाले हैं? रॉयल केशर बादाम हॉर्लिक्स. एंड सेकेंड, पैकिंग ऑफ 5 रुपीज सैचेट, इसका प्लास्टिक जो है बहुत थीन कर दिया आपने. ये थोड़ा सा जो है दिक्कत हो रहा है, तो इस पे थोड़ा ध्यान दीजिएगा क्योंकि हम लोग जो है डेली कंज्यूमर है. इशू ऑफ बोनस शेयर ओवरड्यू हो गया सर जी. आवर इक्विटी इज रुपीज 235 करोड़ एंड आवर रिजर्व इज रुपीज 49,986 करोड़, मीन्स 212 टाइम्स ऑफ आवर इक्विटी. तो बोनस शेयर तो बनता है सर जी, प्लीज कंसीडर इट. सर जी एक दो छोटा छोटा क्वेश्चन है. रिडक्शन इन रॉ मटेरियल प्राइसेस स्पेशली पाम ऑयल एंड अदर केमिकल्स. अभी रशिया यूक्रेन वार के बाद से जो है पाम ऑयल का दाम काफी घट गया है और कई केमिकल का दाम भी घटा है. तो वेदर आवर प्रॉफिट विल बी बेटर इन कमिंग क्वार्टर्स ड्यू टू दिस रिडक्शन. एंड सेकंड क्वेश्चन, whether we have any plan to reduce our sales price due to this reduction. Expectation of demand, rural and urban. सर जी इन्फ्लेशन इज गोइंग डाउन, तो हम लोग का डिमांड जो है क्या बढ़ने का उम्मीद है क्या हम लोग? ये थोड़ा बताइएगा. सर जी फैक्ट्री विजिट, मेरे को मैं तो बहुत पुराना शेयर होल्डर हूँ आपका, तो अगर आप फैक्ट्री विजिट ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं तो मुझे इनवाइट कीजिएगा. आई एम वेरी मच इंटरेस्टेड टू सी आवर फैक्ट्री. सर एक कंप्लेन है रिगार्डिंग R&D एजेंट. आवर जो एजेंट है कार्वी, इसके प्रति हमारा जो है बहुत कंप्लेन है. देयर सर्विस इज नॉट गुड. फॉर स्मॉल इन्वेस्टर लाइक मी फील मच हेरासमेंट फ्रॉम देयर सर्विस. कुछ समय पहले मैंने शेयर डीमेट के लिए दिया था. दे टुक मोर देन 1 month. And with the help of our secretarial department, a special many thanks to Mr. Milind sir, क्योंकि उनके बिना हेल्प के मैं शेयर डीमेट नहीं करवा सकता था. उन्होंने मुझे काफी हेल्प किया. अदरवाइज कार्वी इंटेंशन इज ऑलवेज टू रिजेक्ट एंड हरास स्मॉल शेयर होल्डर. तो प्लीज कंसीडर टू चेंज आवर R&D कार्वी. Thank you once again for caring we Indian citizen by supplying good quality and good quality of products. At last, sir ji, please maintain your smile and be cheerful. We will remain with you always as a long-term investor. Thank you. Thank you, sir ji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vakil. Sorry, thank you, Mr. Kejriwal. With that, let me move on to Mrs. Lekha Shah.
Mrs. Lekha Shah, good afternoon. You're now live in the meeting. You can unmute your mic and camera and start your questions.
Hello, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you, sir. Respected Chairman, sir, Board of Directors, and my fellow members. Good afternoon to all of you. Myself, Lekha Shah from Andheri, Chakala. First of all, I'm very much thankful to our company secretarial team, especially Minin Bhai and Uma ma'am, for sending me the AGM notice well in time, which is full of knowledge, facts and figures in place. And also, our company secretary Minin Bhai always call my faults and happily clear all my doubts. Once again, thank you so much, Minin Bhai. Chairman sir, thank you for explaining as well about the company. Sir, I pray to God that He always shower His blessing upon you. At the outset, I congratulate the management and receiving various awards and by CT for best organization for women. Sir, I would like to ask few questions. My first question is, which are the products developed in the beauty and personal care segment and the market share in the domestic market. My second question is, how many retail outlets we have of our own? So I strongly support all the resolutions for today's meeting, and my best wishes always our company and its prosperity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Lekha Shah. May I now request Mr. Manjeet Singh from Delhi?
Good afternoon, Mr. Singh. Now on the live screen, please unmute your mic and camera and go ahead with your questions.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
HUL के
afternoon.
पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम, पूरी मैनेजमेंट टीम और माय को शेयर होल्डर सभी का मैं स्वागत करता हूं और बड़े अच्छे टाइम पे आपकी ऑर्गेनाइज हुई है AGM, क्योंकि इंद्र देवता की एंट्री बॉम्बे और दिल्ली में इकट्ठी हुई है, हमारे नॉर्थ में भी और आपके बॉम्बे में भी। तो एक ये शुभ संकेत है आगे हमारे सेल के लिए भी, क्योंकि मानसून का अच्छा होना आगे कंपनियों की सेल का अच्छा होना होता है। सर, हमारा जो है टोटल कितना खर्चा है रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट पर टोटल इनकम का, थोड़ा आप इस बारे में बताइएगा। प्रोडक्ट आपके बहुत हैं, बाकी केजरीवाल साहब ने दिखा दिए सारे, अगर जो किसी ने नहीं भी देखे थे तो। बाकी मेरा आपसे ये कहना है कि हम टूथपेस्ट के अंदर तो काफी मार्केट कैप्चर करते हैं और टूथब्रश के अंदर हमारा रोल उतना नहीं है, और आने वाले टाइम में क्या हम न्यूडल और जो है इंसेक्टिसाइड आइटमें, जो मच्छर की आइटमें हैं, उसमें हम कुछ ऐसा करेंगे, क्योंकि हमारी कंपटीटिव कंपनी गोदरेज के काफी प्रोडक्ट उसमें हैं और साबुन के होते हुए हम उनके कंपटीटर हैं ही हैं। तो कोई मर्यादा का उल्लंघन नहीं होगा कि हम मच्छर के उत्पादन भी आने वाले टाइम में लें या ऐसी कोई कंपनी एक्वायर करें, क्योंकि साल के अंदर 2 टाइम काफ़ी अच्छी सेल आती है इन प्रोडक्ट की, और हमारी जो सेलमैन की पहुंच है या हमारे C&F या आपकी जो डोर टू डोर तक पकड़ा है, हर गली गली तक पकड़ा है, तो आपके प्रोडक्ट उसमें भी अच्छे कामयाब हो सकते हैं। और थोड़ा जो हमारा ये प्रोडक्ट है क्वालिटी आइसक्रीम, इसको थोड़ा नेगेटिव नज़रिए से दूसरी कंपनियां अपने एडवर्टाइजमेंट में प्रस्तुत करती हैं कि हमारे जो आइसक्रीम प्रोडक्ट हैं वो मिल्क से हैं और क्वालिटी, और एक दो आइसक्रीम और वो बताते हैं कि ये मिल्क से नहीं बनती। तो ऐसा कुछ है तो हमें मिल्क रेंज और शुरू करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हमारी मार्केटिंग बहुत अच्छी है और वो अपने एडवर्टाइजमेंट के अंदर इस नेगेटिविटी को जरूर दिखाते हैं, उसमें वाल्स का नाम भी जरूर आता है, क्वालिटी वाल्स का, कि ये मिल्क प्रोडक्ट नहीं है। तो इस तरह का चैलेंज हम आने वाले टाइम में स्वीकार करना चाहिए हमें, और अपनी जो आइसक्रीम को है मिल्क बेस के ऊपर रखना चाहिए, तो अच्छा रहेगा। समय समय पर आपके प्रोडक्ट का नाजायज फायदा भी उठाया जाता है, कुछ नकली कंपनियां भी पकड़ी जाती हैं। अभी 4 दिन पहले कुछ ऐसा कुछ हुआ था, उसका मैंने आपके जो सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट में इसकी की सूचना भी उन्हें भेजी थी व्हाट्सएप के जरिए। तो इन चीज़ों पर आप ध्यान दीजिए, समय समय पर आप पैकिंग चेंज करिए तो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा। दिल्ली का मैं निवासी हूँ और दिल्ली की बात जरूर करूँगा। यमुना पार एरिया हमारा ईस्ट दिल्ली बोला जाता है इसको। हमारे यहाँ सबसे बड़ी मार्केट मंडोली रोड है, और उसके जो आपका डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर है, आप मेंशन करिए प्लीज, जरा आप इसको नोट करिए जरूर। टिपरा इंटरप्राइजेस की सप्लाई आती है जी वहाँ पर, ठीक है जी। और जो ट्रांसपोर्ट के अंदर या कुछ और लापरवाही के कारण जो सर्फ के पैकेट कुछ लूज हो जाते हैं या जो कटे फटे आते हैं, उनकी रिप्लेसमेंट जाती जरूर है, लेकिन वो उनको करीब 6-8 महीने लग जाते हैं। तो ये इतना जो डिले है कंपनी की तरफ से है या डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर अपना हक जमा कर चलता है? आप नोट करिए प्लीज जरा, शिप्रा इंटरप्राइजेस। ये 6-8 महीने तक सुनवाई नहीं होती उसकी प्रोडक्ट के, ऑलरेडी वो जब वापसी डिस्पैच हो जाता है उनके पास तब भी वो क्लेम नहीं आते हैं। आप थोड़ा इस बारे में जरूर नोट करिए। ईस्ट दिल्ली का इलाका है जी, तिपरा इंटरप्राइजेस। अगर आप नोट करेंगे इस बात को तो इससे जो है आपकी सेल और बढ़ेगी, आप जो दुकानदारों का विश्वास है आपकी कंपनी में और जमेगा और लगेगा कि भाई सुनवाई है और हमारे को देखा जाता है जरूर। CSSR कर रहे हैं बहुत।
थैंक यू। मंजीत सिंह जी, आप लाइन पे है या? Maybe it's got next person. Can we now have Mr. Ashit Kumar Pathak?
Yes, he's there. Attending.
Mr. Ashit Pathak, you are now on the live screen. You may please switch on your mic and camera and start with your questions.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Am I
you
audible?
are audible.
Ah.
Yes, you are.
Very good afternoon, respected Chairman, Board of Directors, Company Secretary, fellow members joining at 90th AGM of Hindustan Unilever Limited. My name is Ashit Kumar Pathak, joining from Damdam, Kolkata. At first, congratulations to my company's management team for achieving excellent financial result financial year 23, where EBITDA is 13,632 crores and PAT 9,962 crore. And my great respect to Mr. Sanjeev Mehta for his excellent contribution to my company since 10 years, and also my great expectation, our new MD and CEO, Mr. Rohit Jawa. And I to pray to God for his good health also on my company. Sir, I have some news, and also my congratulations to Secretary team for it. First view digital deeds on print.
Pathak, we are losing you. Your voice is breaking, please.
At present, I'm audible, ma'am. Hello.
This is better. This is better.
Hello. Hello. Any so beyond 50, any plan in fiscal year for capacities, and any new products in our business financial year to some heights, any plan to enter in products and steps taken cyber securities and present attrition rate, and current financial year facing very heat wave and delay monsoon. Throw some highlights our business perspectives is current financial year with our products. Throw some highlights revenue and EBIT with our multi-brand D2C platform, use shop, participation with government's initiative ONDC, and correct capex on RD in current financial year, also ESG framework, water and energy conservations and waste management. My previous speaker also mentioned that we are celebrating millet, internationally millet year. So Horlicks our brand, and from GSK we purchased rupees 3,045 crores, and GSK Consumer Healthcare 31,700 crores. So steps taken to potential business from Horlicks brands, mostly in millets. Many FMCG companies concentrating in millets. So I think our Horlicks brand will get mileage. And the reason for GSK Consumer Distribution Agreement, termination agreement on OTC products and any material effect for this reason and financial loss. My company is using Agile Innovation Hub to shorten the manufacturing process and help the turnover from a high
Mr. Pathak, we are again.
Hello, finally, my company is using Agile Innovation Hub shorten the manufacturing help predict the turnover from for this our capex program for this Agile Innovation Hub. Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible, ma'am?
No, your voice is.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Your voice is getting.
Our capex in Agile Innovation Hub, capex program for Agile Innovation Hub.
Got it. I understood the question.
Our capex in Agile Innovation Hub.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Nothing to say more. I already sent my all views by email already.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Pathak.
Thank you.
Can we now have Mr. Saraf, Santosh Kumar Saraf?
Good afternoon, Mr. Santosh Saraf. You are on the live screen now. You can switch on your microphone and proceed with your questions.
Hello. 1 minute, I
Yes.
sharing my video. Just give me. माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, उपस्थित निधि सदस्यगण और मेरे शेयरहोल्डर भाइयों बहनों, जो आज वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस थ्रू प्रेजेंटर में संतोष कुमार साहब कोलकाता का रहने वाला, आप सभी को नमस्कार करता हूँ। आशा करता हूँ सब आप स्वस्थ और अच्छे होंगे सर। सर जो प्रश्न मैंने खुद लिख के भेज दिए थे, बाकी जो भी प्रश्न थे मिलेट के बारे में है, आपको पंतजलि के बारे में, ये सब इन्होंने पूछे सर। मेरे सिर्फ अब 2 ही प्रश्न है। तो वर्कर, आपके वुमेन वर्कर काफी कम है सर। 3.61% अपने परमानेंट एम्प्लॉई है, वर्कर है सर, आउट ऑफ 1 में तो अपने जो फीमेल वर्कर काफी कम है, 3.61% है सर। 11,251 में 351 फीमेल वर्कर है सर। तो इनकी संख्या बढ़ाने के लिए क्या कदम उठा रहे हैं बताने का करिएगा सर। और अपने यहाँ डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय कितने हैं इसकी संख्या बताइएगा। अब क्योंकि अपने डिसेबल एम्प्लॉय है उनकी संख्या आपने नहीं दी है तो बताने का करिएगा सर। लास्ट में यही कहूंगा सर, जो करते की फैक्ट्री वहाँ विजिट करने का प्रोग्राम रखिए तो हम करते वालों को एक मौका मिलेगा। ऐसा आपसे निवेदन है कि करते की फैक्ट्री में एक विजिट का प्रोग्राम करते के शेयर होल्डर या अगल बगल वाले शेयर होल्डर के जरूर रखिए जिसे हम विजिट कर सके सर। ज्यादा कुछ नहीं कहो, कंपनी काफी अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही है। और सर मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा इसी तरह बीसी मीटिंग करते रहिए तो फ्यूचर में हम आपसे करते वाले अपने मन की भावना प्रकट कर सकेंगे। अभी पाठक ने कहा, उसके पहले मनोज जी ने कहा, तो हम करते शेयर होल्डर वाले भी अपनी भावना प्रकट कर सकेंगे। अगर आप फिजिकल मीटिंग करते तो शायद हमें नहीं होगा। मैं चाहूंगा, अगर रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, अगर आप फिजिकल मीटिंग करते हैं तब भी आप बीसी की मीटिंग जरूर रखिए, जैसे लेखा जी ने कहा है, मैं उनका समर्थन करता हूँ। जय हिंद, जय भारत, नमस्कार।
Thank you, Saraf ji. May now request Mr. Bharat Mulchan Shah.
Mrs. Smita Shah, his wife, has joined. Good afternoon, Mrs. Shah.
Okay.
You are now live on the meeting. You can please start with your speech.
Mrs. Shah.
Mrs. Smita Shah, if you can.
मैडम आवाज आ रही है मेरी? मैडम आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, अभी आ रही है।
आ रही आवाज।
ओके, थैंक यू नितिन जी, थैंक यू सो मच। माननीय चेयरमैन श्री नितिन जी, एमडी श्री संजीव जी और अन्य माननीय डायरेक्टर सर, मेरा नाम स्मिता झा। नमस्कार सर, गुड आफ्टरनून सर। आज 98 एजीएम में आपका 4th वर्चुअल एजीएम में हार्दिक स्वागत हो। आपका एक्सेलेंट परफॉर्मेंस, मैनी अवार्ड्स के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देते हुए अभिनंदन सर। सर, पेज नंबर 65 पर जो पूरी अपनी लेडीज टीम का जो हमारी अहिल्या हमारी शान 50 इयर्स का जो सेलिब्रेट किया, मैं जानना चाहती हूँ ये कहाँ पर सेलिब्रेट हुआ है, और ये तो वुमेन एम्पावर देखकर मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है। अभी करंट ईयर में वुमेन्स एम्प्लॉय कितने हैं? बाकी तो आपका हेल्थ केयर, सीएसआर, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स, R&D सेक्टर आदि सभी में अच्छा वर्क हो रहा है। सर, आपको ये पूरे वर्ल्ड में आपका जो ये अपना जो पूरे वर्ल्ड में नाम तो है, आज भी इतनी पुरानी साल की कंपनी एक्सेलेंट वर्क के साथ पूरे वर्ल्ड में नाम मशहूर बनाकर एक्सेलेंट वर्क तो कर ही रही है। फिर भी आपके साथ सर कंप्यूटर तो जरूर रहेगा सर। तो आपके हिसाब से आपका कॉम्पिटिटर अभी मार्केट में कौन है, जरा बताइए। और आपने जो इंटरिम डिविडेंड 17 और फाइनल डिविडेंड 22 पर शेयर दिया, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। पर सर, अभी बोनस के लिए कब सोच रहे हो? लास्ट बोनस कब दिया था, बताइए। बाकी तो आपके लास्ट पेज में जो प्लांट लोकेशन जो है, एक से बढ़कर एक प्लांट है। तो सर, अभी आज 98 एजे में तो उस निमित्त एक अच्छा बढ़िया प्लांट की विजिट तो बनती है सर। तो सर जरूर सर विजिट कराइए। बाकी तो आपकी बैलेंस शीट तो बहुत लाजवाब है, बहुत ही अट्रैक्टिव, फुल इंफॉर्मेशन, कलरफुल प्रोडक्ट के साथ, फोटो के साथ, और आज आप सभी वैल्यूएबल टीम के फोटो के साथ। किन संजीव जी, थोड़ी अगर हो हंसी तो ज्यादा हमें होती खुशी। जरा मुस्कुराइए, अपना प्राउड बनता है सर, और भी हंसी ज्यादा खुशी। बाकी तो हर चीज आपने मेंशन करते हुए बैलेंस शीट बनाई है, बहुत मेंशन बैलेंस शीट शोभा बढ़ाती है सर। ये बैलेंस शीट पर कॉपी कितनी कॉस्ट है और कितनी कॉपी छपवाई है? बाकी तो हमें भी हमारी रिक्वेस्ट अनुसार मिस्टर वाजपेयी जी ने जो हमें फिजिकल कॉपी भेजी, तो हमें और सही लिंक भी भेजी, गुड इन्वेस्टर सर्विस जो हमें सेक्रेटरी टीम से मिल रही है। तो वाजपेयी जी के साथ उनकी टीम से मिलिंद जी, उमा जी बहुत हेल्पफुल नेचर के साथ हमें अच्छा फॉलो करते थे। तो उन पूरी सेक्रेटरी टीम को मैं हार्दिक धन्यवाद देती हूँ। लेकिन सर, नेक्स्ट ईयर से फिजिकल एजीएम करे और कंपनी एक्सेलेंट वर्क के साथ आगे रहे, और इतनी बढ़िया कंपनी जो वर्ल्ड मशहूर है, तो हाइब्रिड भी कर सकते हो, ताकि लोकल शेयर होल्डर फिजिकल में और आउट ऑफ मुंबई के हाइब्रिड में जुड़कर हर कोई शेयर होल्डर आपकी एजीएम अटेंड करके संतुष्ट रहे और रूबरू मिलने का मौका भी मिले, और रूबरू मिलने का जो वाइब्रेशन अलग सा रहता है। सो जरूर नेक्स्ट ईयर की फिजिकल एजीएम हो जाए, और आप सभी की हेल्थ वेल्थ बढ़िया बनी रहे, यही शुभकामना के साथ, फ्यूचर की ढेरों शुभकामना के साथ, आज के सभी रिजोल्यूशन में मेरा फुल्ली सपोर्ट करते हुए धन्यवाद सर। सर चालू रखिए, भरत साहब बात करते हैं सर।
Thank you, Mrs. Shah. May I now request Mr. Ashish Shankar Bansal.
Mr. Bharat Shah also wants to speak, it seems.
All right, Mr. Shah, Bharat Shah. Mr. Bharat Shah, are you there?
Mr. Shah,
Yes.
you can now unmute your mic and start speaking.
हाँ, माननीय चेयरमैन श्री, एमडी श्री और अन्य मान्यवर डायरेक्टर सर, मेरा नाम भरत शाह सर। 1 मिनट लूंगा, ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लूंगा। सर, बरसों से आपके एजीएम अटेंड कर रहा हूँ, बरसों से आपका शेयर होल्डर रहा हूँ सर। आपने निकली तो हमेशा ख्याल रखा है, शेयर होल्डर को अच्छा से अच्छा फाड़ के डिविडेंड दी सर। चप्पड़ फाड़ के रिटर्न दिया है सर, गुड रिटर्न दिया है सर, और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हूँ सर। और सर आने वाले साल में मेरे पहले से कैसा बोनस देने की मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है, और लास्ट बोनस कभी दिया था वो जरा बता। बाकी तो सर जो अपनी कंपनी दिन दोगुनी रात चौगुनी आगे बढ़े, भगवान ईश्वर को प्रार्थना है सर। 5 years की सर बताना जरूर। और सर CSR एक्टिविटी बहुत व्यवस्थित चल रही है, उसके सारे अपने देव वाजपेयी, उनके टीम के मिलिंद जी, उमर, पूरी CS टीम को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ सर। बहुत बेस्ट सर्विस दे रहे, हम रिस्पेक्ट देते, और सर बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग टीम है, तो मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद CS टीम को दे रहा हूँ सर। और सर फैक्ट्री विजिट के लिए भी मेरे आगे से ने बोला तो बहुत टाइम हो गया, एक बार जरूर फैक्ट्री विजिट कराने की मेरी सर। और सर फेस टू फेस मिलने का एक अलग माहौल रहता है सर, आपको रूबरू मिलके बहुत टाइम होता है, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम सर फेस टू फेस जरूर बनती है। और भार्गव के सर हाइब्रिड कर सकते हो तो भार्गव वाले भी ज्वाइन हो सके, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम जरूर फेस टू फेस मीटिंग करने की रिक्वेस्ट। बाकी सर आने वाले त्योहार गणेश चतुर्थी, दिवाली, पूरा सारे रिजल्ट मेरा पूरा सपोर्ट है सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। जय हिंद, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Mr. Bharat Shah. May we now have Mr. Ashish Shankar Bansal.
Ashish Bansal, good afternoon. You are now on the live screen. Please unmute your mic, start your camera and start speaking.
You can hear my voice, sir? Hello?
So, Mr. Bansal?
You can hear my voice, sir?
Yes, I can hear your voice.
Respected Chairman and Board of Directors, I first thank for connecting to me in AGM. Lot of trouble has taken company secretary and CTSL. I am very thankful to Board of them, its team, to connect to this AGM today. Also, I request you last AGM you have given after 10 speakers reply. If you can continue that process, I am thankful for that topic. And I already given my queries by email. If you can reply us, I am thankful to that. And also I can leave today's Tata Chemical meeting also with them. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bansal. I think I heard you. I've got some of your responses. I hope I'm able to capture it later on. Let's move to the next speaker. That is Anil Babubhai Mehta.
We can't, I think he has left the meeting. Let's go ahead with the next speaker, please.
Okay. Then we've got Mr. Vinod Agarwal.
Mr. Vinod Agarwal is also not there. We are trying to call him. Mr. Kirti Shah is not joining.
Mr. Kirti Shah.
Is not joining. He is not joining.
Mr. Kirti. So we don't have Mr. Vinod Agarwal, we don't have Mr. Kirti Shah and Mr. Babubhai Mehta.
Yes.
They may join a little later. They were on the call, but they got disconnected. They may join a little later.
Right.
We can proceed.
Okay, can we now have Mrs. Prakashini Shenoy?
Not there.
She has also left the meeting.
Can we have Mrs. Hutokshi Sam Patel?
Not there.
Utakshi has also not joined.
Is there an issue with the connection, or can we have Mr. Dinesh Gopaldas Bhatia?
Yeah, Mr. Bhatia, good evening. You are now live on the screen. You can start your microphone and camera and start with your questions.
हाँ, मेरा आवाज सुनाई देता है सर? हेलो?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल सुनाई दे रहा है।
एंड वीडियो भी आ रहा है क्या सर?
अभी वीडियो नहीं आ रहा है, आपकी आवाज, हाँ दोनों आ रहे हैं, वीडियो भी आ रहा है, आवाज भी आ रही है।
अच्छा, थैंक यू सर। फर्स्ट तो मैं चेयरमैन श्री आपको और आपका एंटायर टीम को कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन कहूँगा। बहुत बढ़िया रिजल्ट, बहुत बढ़िया मेहनत है आप लोग का। हमें खुशी होती है कि हम ऐसी अच्छी कंपनी के शेयर होल्डर हैं, जिसमें आप लोग अच्छी अच्छी मेहनत करते हैं, अच्छा डिविडेंड देते हैं। आप ₹1 के शेयर के पीछे 39 रुपीज डिविडेंड, ये एक हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी, हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी बात है। हमें अच्छा रिवॉर्ड, अच्छा फायदा मिल रहा है डिविडेंड के स्वरूप में। तो हमें उसके लिए और उसके लिए भी मैं आपको, आपका टीम को धन्यवाद करता हूँ, कांग्रेस कहता हूँ कि गुड रिजल्ट, गुड डिविडेंड, एवरीथिंग इज गुड। पर हमें थोड़ा असमंजस है, थोड़ा आपसे जानकारी चाहती थी कि मेरे आगे जो धर्मेश भाई ने कहा, ऐसा मेरा भी आपको रिक्वेस्ट था सर कि आप 2 मिनट देंगे। एक साल में हम आपके पास, हम बात करने को मौका मिलता है, उसमें 2 मिनट दीजिए। वो 2 मिनट ठीक नहीं है सर, यू मस्ट गिव एटलीस्ट 4 to 5 मिनट्स। अच्छा, अभी वो तो ठीक है। दूसरा जो धर्मेश भाई ने कहा, उसके साथ भी मैं सहमत होता हूँ कि हमारी कंपनी को जो रॉयल्टी हम देते हैं, अभी हम इतनी रॉयल्टी के स्वरूप में पेमेंट कर रहे हैं, फिर भी आप रॉयल्टी बढ़ाने का क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? जैसा धंधा बढ़ता है ऐसा कंपनी को रॉयल्टी तो बढ़ता ही है, डिविडेंड स्वरूप भी अच्छा मिलता है। क्योंकि आज भी आप देखेंगे तो कंपनी का जो शेयर होल्डिंग है 61%, 60% से ऊपर है। तो जो डिविडेंड आता कमाई होता है, उसमें से 60% तो डिविडेंड स्वरूप से उनको मिल जाता है। तो हमारी आपको नम्र विनंती है कि आप जो हमारी पेरेंट कंपनी है, उनसे भी आप इतना रिक्वेस्ट कीजिए कि भाई हमें रॉयल्टी के स्वरूप में, आज देखो तो लास्ट ईयर का आपने जो दिया है रॉयल्टी का, आपने 799 करोड़ चुकाया है, और डिविडेंड के स्वरूप में 4012 करोड़ चुकाया है। आप टोटल देखो तो 4811 करोड़ हमने पेरेंट कंपनी को, यूनिलीवर को, जो आपका जो पेज नंबर 342 में दिया है, उसके मुताबिक मैं बोलता हूँ। तो इसके बारे में यू मस्ट टेक केयर एंड रिक्वेस्ट आवर पेरेंट कंपनी that royalty at present is enough, and you are getting other way also income, so don't increase. बाकी तो जो आप लोग का सब कार्य कर रहे हैं, आपका सेक्रेटरी डिपार्टमेंट का जो मिलिंद भाई का और इनका जो सपोर्ट है, जो हमें बहुत खुशी होती है कि शेयर होल्डर की वैल्यू वो करते हैं, बहुत अच्छी बात है। आप भी जो शेयर होल्डर की वैल्यू करके जो अच्छा कमाई होता है, तो अच्छा डिविडेंड भी आप देते हैं, वो अच्छी, सब अच्छी चीज है। पर ये एक चीज रॉयल्टी में हमारे को जरा असमंजस है, तो थोड़ा उसके बारे में सोचिए। और मैं उसके लिए भी आपको और आपका पूरा टीम को जो पेज नंबर 40 में अवार्ड दिया है, उसके लिए मैं आप सभी को कांग्रेचुलेशन करता हूँ, आपका एंटायर टीम को, कि बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं, जिसके हमें अवार्ड मिला है। हमें बहुत गर्व होता है कि बहुत बढ़िया चीज है। हम ये भी देखते हैं कि हमारी कंपनी में जो भाव जो है, लास्ट ईयर हमारा 2195 था, आज का जो भाव है हमारा 2655, माने हमें 15% से अधिक तो खाली प्राइस इंक्रीज हुआ, स्टॉक का प्राइस, उसमें फायदा मिला है। एक बहुत अच्छी बात है, हर एक चीज आप लोग का अच्छा है। और मेरा एक ही आपका फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट से मेरा थोड़ा नाराजगी है कि हम करीब काफी साल से मैं भेज रहा हूँ कि हमारे जो एसेट का जो लिस्ट, हमारी एसेट्स क्या है, उसका जरा लिस्ट हमें दीजिए। तो हमें लिस्ट प्रोवाइड नहीं किया जाता है, तो उससे हम थोड़ा, मैं नाराजगी है कि आपको हमारी कितनी एसेट्स है इंडिया में और आउट ऑफ इंडिया में भी। क्योंकि आप अभी जो देखेंगे तो हमारी जो इनकम जो दिखा रही है, तो 198 पेज पे अदर इनकम जो है 640 करोड़, लास्ट ईयर 393 करोड़ था। अच्छी बात है, जिसमें से जो 233 में बाइफर्गेशन दिया है कि इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम एक 126 करोड़ है, और दूसरा जो इन्वेस्टमेंट सेल गेन इनकम, सेल करके जो गेन हुआ है उसका इनकम इस 90 करोड़। तो ये जो दो बाइफर आपने जो दिया है उसका क्या बाइफर्गेशन आप दे सकेंगे कि किस तरह की ये इन्वेस्टमेंट हमारा कहाँ है? ये लैंड इन्वेस्टमेंट का प्रॉफिट हुआ है कि हमारा जो काफी कंपनियों में के अदर्स ठिकाने जो इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है उसका प्रॉफिट हुआ है? तो ये जरा जो आप जानकारी देंगे तो हमें खुशी होगी। बाकी तो हमें कोई आपसे कोई सवाल नहीं है, खाली हमें जानकारी चाहिए कि हम ये कंपनी हमारी जो कर रही है कहाँ कहाँ प्रगति कर रहे हैं, कहाँ हम आपको थोड़ा हमारा सजेशन भी दे सके कि अगर हमारा आज की तारीख में आप देखो तो आपने जामनगर प्रॉपर्टी में जो 5 करोड़ लगाए थे, आज धीरे धीरे डेप्रिसिएशन करके उसका वैल्यू नील कर दिया है। पर अभी प्रॉपर्टी तो हमारी है, तो आप उसके बारे में आप क्या करना चाहते हैं, थोड़ा उसका भी हमें आप जानकारी देंगे। और लास्टली मुझे ये जानना था कि हमारी जो टूटी कोरिन 63 पेज पे आपने जो दिया है, वी हैव पार्टनर विथ टूटी कोरिन अल्कली chemicals and fertilizers limited to source of soda ash using carbon capture agricultural products। तो ये हमारा टूटी कोरिन में हमने क्या उसके साथ एसोसिएट जॉइंट वेंचर कुछ किया है कि हम उनसे खाली मटेरियल सोडा ऐसी लेते हैं कि क्या है? थोड़ा उसके बारे में, टूटी कोरिन में हमारा कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट है, क्या है, थोड़ा उसके बारे में अगर आप जो देंगे तो हमें थोड़ा अच्छा लगेगा। बाकी तो आप लोग जो कर रहे हैं सभी चीज अच्छी है। लास्ट में मैं आपको ये कहूंगा कि मेरे आगे कई शेयर होल्डर ने भी रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि आप प्लांट विजिट रखो तो क्यों ना आप प्लांट विजिट का एक मौका दे दो। और एकदम लास्ट में मैं बोलता हूँ कि हमारी कंपनी इतना, हमारे पास कैपिटल, उसके सामने रिजर्व, काफी रिजर्व है। आज हमारे 90 इयर्स हो गया, 90वां साल अपना है, 90 साल हो गया कंपनी को। तो हमें था 50 साल, 70 साल, 80 साल, 75 साल, 90 साल। अभी 90 साल का आप कुछ सेलिब्रेशन क्या करेंगे? तो ऐसा कुछ कीजिए कि हम आपके, मेरे आगे स्पीकरों ने कहा ऐसा कुछ प्लांट विजिट रखिए और सेलिब्रेशन दोनों एक साथ में रखिए, तो हमें बहुत आनंद आएगा। आपने जो बोलने का मौका दिया उसके लिए मैं थैंक यू करता हूँ। ऑल द बेस्ट, थैंक यू।
Thank you, Mr. Bhatia, for your comments and questions. Let's now move on to Mr. Mascarenhas.
Yeah, so there are some shareholders who have joined the Tata Chemicals AGM, we understand. So they may join back here. So meanwhile, Mr. Mascarenhas, can we have you, can you please switch on your mic and camera?
Yeah,
and
please unmute me.
We can hear you, Mr. Mascarenhas.
Please. Can you unmute?
Hello. We can hear you. You are unmuted.
You can hear me. I will. Hello, hello. 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 Hello.
Yes, Mr. Mascarenhas, we can
Yeah,
hear.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Respected Chairman, sir, very distinguished members of the board and my fellow shareholders. Good evening to you all. My name is Aloysius Mascarenhas. At the outset, I thank the management, company secretary and his team for sending me the balance sheet, which I received on time. It is full of information, facts, figures, documented beautifully. Our results are excellent as shown in the balance sheet. Our PBT, PAT, EPS has all grown phenomenally, and a handsome dividend of rupees 39 versus 34 last year. Our market cap has also gone up significantly. Our share price has risen from 2,049 to 2,559. Our market cap also has increased from 4,81,000 to 6 lakhs of rupees. Very good very good results. Now my question, sir, are we diversifying our product line and product mix? If so, please tell us. And what are the new products we are going to launch in this year? We would like to know. This is the age of acquisition and mergers. Are we planning to acquire any companies? Please let us know. On our export front, what is our export and import? Export in the sense rupee, high rising rupee versus depreciating dollar, high dollars versus depreciating rupee. So what is the effect on our profitability and export revenue and imports? So I would like to know the effect of a rising dollar versus lowering rupee. Then being 90th year, what have we planned? Is a bonus there? If so, please let us know. I would also like to know when was the last bonus declared. I would also like to go for a plant visit. Some companies are giving sample products to shareholders for feedback. I would like our company to follow the pattern so that we can give our feedback. Rest, I don't want to speak more. I want to end my speech wishing you personally and the board members, and more importantly, all the employees, all the very best in the days and years to come. With this, sir, thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you. God bless you and our company. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mascarenhas. Let's now move on to Mr. Sunil Modak from Kolkata.
Good afternoon, Mr. Modak. You can unmute your mic, start your camera, and go ahead to speak.
Hello.
Mr. Modak?
Yes, can you
Yes,
hear
Mr.
me?
Modak.
Yeah. Good
Yes,
afternoon.
we can hear you well.
Good afternoon, sir. Respected Chairman, Board of Directors, Managing Director, Company Secretary, employees of the company, my fellow shareholders, myself Sunil Kumar Modak, joining this VC meeting from Kolkata, my residence. I thank you for allowing me to speak on this 90th AGM. I must thank our secretarial department, Uma ma'am, Milind bhai, and others for providing all necessary cooperations in the matter. I received requisite AGM papers in time and also a hard copy of annual report when requested. Ours is leading and the best FMCG company in the country, catering services to the people and the nation simultaneously. Ours is leading FMCG company. Every 9 people out of 10 have used one or more products of Hindustan Unilever Limited, and it's a great achievement on our part. Our turnover, our revenue, our profit, everything is very good. A dividend of rupees 39 declared this year. Congratulations. I congratulate Mr. Sanjeev Mehta, named CEO of the Year by Business Standard, and also other officials for the awards they won this year. We are proud of them. What is our employee strength, sir, and how much their ratio, male-female ratio? CSR activities are very good. How do you think for the specially challenged people, especially blind person? How you face competition from the competitors? Are you planning for new product for this year? And if yes, which product you will launch and when do we get this? Balance sheet is very nicely printed, data layout, printing is very good. And also many speakers ask for the factory visit. Please do arrange for factory visit. I am very interested. I will go with you to see our factory. And I have already casted my votes and support all the resolutions in favor of the company. I hope our company will do good, very, very good in the coming years too. We hope we will be all happy. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Modak. May I now request Mr. Yusuf Rangwala to share his comments.
Rangwala, good afternoon. you are now on the live screen. You may please switch on your mic and camera and start with your questions.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon, chairman sir. आपको मेरा आवाज आ रहा है? Can you hear my voice?
हाँ जी आ रहा है
Hello?
आवाज।
हाँ नमस्कार सर। पहले तो आपका इस जो अपने 19 एनुअल जनरल मीटिंग है उसके लिए सर पहले आपको बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ। अपना कंपनी 1930 में फॉर्म हुआ था। As you mentioned in the annual report 372 pages. बहुत excellent, very colorful, very good sir. Sir, I will come on directly on point. First, I will thank our Miss Uma madam and Milan sir for sending me our annual report. Also remember, sir, we are very happy. Now I'll come on directly on point. Sir, point number 1, as I'm using a Indulekha oil and shampoo. Sir, ये यूज करने से एक साल में सर मेरा हेयर जो गया था वो आ गया सर. फर्स्ट एग्जांपल माय सेल्फ सर. सेकंड पॉइंट किसान सॉस यूज करते सर उसमें मेरा जो छोटा रिक्वेस्ट है सर किसान सॉस में अगर आप if you give us soup so that will help us business. This is my suggestion because as you mentioned previously you give us sir in soup non-veg how many new flavor will introduce sir I would like to know. And sir we have printed a page of 372 excellent. Our Dev sir who is one of the DEM secretary sir उनकी hard working उनके लिए सर जितना धन्यवाद दो इतना कम है सर. वी आर वेरी लकी टू हैव देव सर एज अवर कंपनी सेक्रेटरी. उनके लिए एक शेयर पेश करना चाहता हूँ आपके लिए भी सर. सावंत सर आप जा रहे हैं सर. आई केम टू दिस लास्ट एनुअल जनरल मीटिंग सर. वी विल मिस यू सर. आप हमारे याद में आते रहेंगे पर क्या करें सर याद तो रहेंगी पर आपके चेहरा आज मैं आपके अपने पास रखता हूँ सर. आपका चेहरा हमें दिखेगा जब हमें खुशी होगी सर. छोटा सा एक हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट है सर बिफोर यू आर लिविंग सर प्लीज यू कीप ए स्मॉल गेट टुगेदर सो दैट वी कैन meet you and we can give you a small flower sir. थोड़ा हम आप चाहते हैं सर. ये हमारे दिल की आशा है सर. सर नाउ ब्रांड लीवर अपना ब्रांड कौन सा है जस्ट लाइक डव शैम्पू डव साबु लिरियन किस एंड देयर आर सो मेनी एम्पल ऑफ सर. डिविडेंड 1 रुपया शेयर पे 22 रुपया final dividend. Inter dividend 17 rupees which make 39 rupees. Sir this is a very excellent dividend sir and we are very lucky to have excellent dividend sir. And sir, I joining previous speakers many years past. Sir, you not declare a bonus. Sir, हो सके तो फैक्ट्री विजिट. सर आइसक्रीम में भी अपना मोनोपोली है. हमारे घर में क्वालिटी का यूज करते हैं. सर अपने शेयर होल्डर जो साहब लेके आए थे मैं आपको एग्जाम्पल आपका बुरबोन टी पीते फिर इवनिंग में आपका सर जब हम निकलते 10 o'clock आपका हॉर्लिक्स पीता हो सर. और सर आपका सब प्रोडक्ट एक्सीलेंट है सर. जब भी हम कुछ एनीथिंग का सॉस हम यूज करते हैं सर आपका प्रोडक्ट इतना सर लाजवाब है सर. मेरे पास कोई शब्द नहीं है. ऐसी आपकी कंपनी है सर. ओनली एक छोटा सा आपको हाथ जोड़ के विनती करता हूँ सर इंडुलेखा में हो सके तो मुझे 50% डिस्काउंट कूपन भेजिए सर क्योंकि सर बहुत इंडुलेखा इज वेरी कॉस्टली सर. दिस इज हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट सर. हो सके तो हमें इंडुलेखा में जो डिस्काउंट कूपन दीजिए सर. कुछ हमारे लिए कुछ करिए सर. तो क्या मैं सर मेरा जो बाल जो है अभी नेक्स्ट 2 साल में जब यूज करूंगा तो मुझे आइडिया है कि अपना जो प्रोडक्ट है सर लाजवाब है और मेरे जो बाल गए वो आ जाएंगे सर. आपका प्रोडक्ट इतना लाजवाब है सर. चेयरमैन सर आपकी हंसी सर मुझे चाहिए सर. आपकी हंसी सर में बहुत ये अभी आपको मुझे बहुत खुशी हुई सर. आपको सर धन्यवाद देता हूँ. मैं हाथ जोड़ के आपको विनती करता हूँ और आपके सर आप अल्लाह के पास आपकी दुआ करता हूँ आपके हेल्थ वेल्थ सब खुश रहे और अपने उमा मैडम और मिलन सर की जितनी धन्यवाद दो इतना कम है सर. अपने पर रोज से तारा है सर. कभी भी चारा चमकते रहते हैं और मिलन सर कभी भी नहीं. और अपने सेफ सर उनको भी सर मैं हैप्पी ईद मुबारक कहता हूँ सर. नथिंग मोर टू इट. धन्यवाद सर. जय हिंद सर. एंड माय स्पीच ओनली सर. सर सेइंग सर फ्यू वर्ड. फूलों की खुशबू आने वाले सब त्योहारों के मेरे तरफ से स्वीकार करिए सर. फूलों की खुशबू जिसे महकती रहे सब त्योहारों के मेरे तरफ से शुभकामनाएं स्वीकार करिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच सर. जय हिंद सर.
थैंक यू. शुक्रिया मिस्टर रंगवाला. अभी कैन वी नाउ मूव ऑन टू मिस्टर अनूप कुमार सुशील शेठ.
Mr. Anup Sheth has also not joined. We only have the last speaker, Mr. Manish Shah. We don't, nobody else.
Mr. Manish Shah. All right, Mr. Manish Shah, over to you.
Mr. Manish Shah wanted to give his vote of thanks on behalf of all the shareholders. So requesting Manish Shah to give his vote of thanks.
Thank you.
सर आवाज आ रही है?
We can, हाँ अभी आ रही है.
Mr. Shah?
बोलिए मनी।
नहीं, वीडियो देख रहा था, वीडियो आ रहा है कि नहीं? सर अभी
हाँ,
आ
आ
रहा
गया,
है?
वीडियो भी आ गया। हाँ, आ गया।
सर मैं और मेरी वाइफ दोनों के साथ में मैं आपका 4.5 मिनट लेना चाहता हूँ, इसलिए वाइफ को भी बुलाया कि आप भी मेरे को शेयर होल्डर में है, तो आपका 4-4.5 मिनट ले सकता हूँ मैं। सर
थैंक यू जी, जरूर लीजिए।
थैंक यू। Dear Chairman, sir, Nitin ji, Director on the board, fellow shareholder, and other present in the virtual meeting. सर यह 90th AGM है, तो मैं 90th पोएम का मतलब पोएम नहीं, एक बोलना चाहता हूँ। HUL अपने परफॉर्म किया है, सुपर वेल डन। आप थके नहीं, हारे नहीं, कौन सक्सेसफुली थ्रू। ब्रुक बॉन्ड हो या ताजमहल हो, आपकी चाय बेस्ट टी। लाइफ बॉय की तंदुरुस्ता खोले दिए डोर। पियर्स, लक्स, रिन, व्हील सब प्रोडक्ट में मारते हैं ऊंची ड्राइव। आपके प्रोडक्ट आइसक्रीम हो या कॉफी, प्रूव नो रिक्स। HUL FMCG दुनिया में सबसे आगे सेवन। परफॉर्मिंग हियर बाय हियर ग्रेट। पॉन्सो या फेयर एंड लवली, लोगों ने चेहरे को करने लगे शाइन। सर्फ एक्सेल का सफाई का जोरदार लाए प्लान। मिस्टर प्रकाश टंडन सर ने शुरू में किया काम बढ़िया और प्लेंटी। सनसिल्क ने कहा नहीं रखने दूंगा बालों में अब डर्टी। शेयर होल्डर का मुनाफा करवाया बनकर स्पोर्टी। शुरू में होता था कि चमकता है आपकी वजह से निफ्टी। आगे बढ़ने के लिए और दिन प्रतिदिन इंप्रूव करने के लिए आप लिए हैं आप सभी थ्रस्टी। आपकी प्रोडक्ट ने बढ़ाई कई लाखों लोगों की ब्यूटी। ग्रोथ ऑफ द कंपनी इज नॉट इल्यूजन, इज अ रियलिटी। आप है सुपरस्टार ट्रेडिंग हाउस के जॉन। आप सभी को बेस्ट विशेस एंड सैल्यूट टू यू। व्हील हो या इंदुलेखा, किसान हो या प्योरिट, वेस्लिन हो या डव, आप खास ये सफलता और प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी के ट्रीज आपकी प्रोडक्ट के लिए है। वर्ल्ड वाइड खुले हैं डोर। कहना गलत नहीं होगा, आपकी वजह से लाखों लोग कर रहे हैं सरवाइव। हेल्थ, फूड ड्रिंक और या टी कॉफी आइसक्रीम की बात हो, सब जगह आपका नाम है फिक्स। HUL के लिए इंडिया इज अ हेवन। श्री संजीव मेहता जी, आपके आगेवानी में हुआ INR 50,000 करोड़ टर्नओवर का वेट। और सर रोहित जावा सर विल मेक कंपनी सुपर फाइन। और रोहित जी, हम शेयर होल्डर की ओर से बधाई और आपको रहे सलामत और ऑलमाइटी। आप करेंगे मजबूत HUL का फाउंडेशन। आपके आने से आएगा और रिवोल्यूशन। आपकी प्रोडक्ट में है बहुत सारी वेरिएशन। FMCG आपका बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन। चलती है आपकी प्रोडक्ट जनरेशन टू जनरेशन। सच कहूं कि आपकी प्रोडक्ट को लोगो है एडिक्शन। शेयर होल्डर का इन्वेस्टमेंट होता है जहां मल्टीप्लिकेशन। आप सभी सुरक्षित और साउंड बने रहे, यही है हमारा एक्सप्रेशन। डियर रोहित जावा सर, आपकी छाया में बना रहे कंपनी का बेस्ट डेमोस्ट्रेशन। बढ़ता रहे ग्रोथ ऊपर की और जिसे रहते हैं एस्केलेरेशन। आप बनेंगे कंपनी के पायलट, कप्तान, मोटरमैन फॉर HUL के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। आपको हमारी ओर से ढेर सारे कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन। सर, I wanted please grant me the permission of the vote of thanks. Sir, Nitin ji.
Yes, I can hear you. I think now is the opportunity. I'm thinking we'll just wait. Is that your vote of thanks just now or at the end of the meeting? Please go ahead.
Thank you. Dear Chairman, sir, Nitin Paranjpe, current Managing Director, Mr. Sanjeev Mehta ji, our new Managing Director, Mr. Rohit Java ji, Director on the board, fellow shareholder, and other present in the virtual meeting. Thank you, Mr. Dev Bajpai ji, Saif ji, Bharti ji, Milin ji, Uma ji, and team of tremendous support and extended. Thank you all being are sparing your valuable time and making our 90th AGM grand success. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra.
Thank you, Manish ji, for that vote of thanks on behalf of all the shareholders. Let me just check once again that there is no one else who had registered to speak is available and has not spoken.
No, Mr. Chairman, we don't have anybody else now.
All right. Now that everyone who had wanted to speak, comment, or ask questions and clarifications is done, we will move on. We will take, as you are aware, that your company believes that brands with purpose grow. And during the last 1 year, your company has created several brands with impactful communication messages for our consumers. And I'd like you to have the opportunity to watch these ads from our brands. That means we are basically taking a short break while you watch these ads. It will give me the opportunity to collate some of the questions that you've asked, cluster them into themes, and make it more efficient for me to respond to everyone. So we will take a short break. As soon as the ads are over, we will be back and I will start responding to all your questions, first clustered around themes and then the individual questions which have not been answered. Okay, with that, can we have our ads, please?
बेटा कौन एडमिटेड है हॉस्पिटल में?
पापा।
चाय लोगे?
नहीं। एक कप ये पीकर एकदम घर वाली फीलिंग आ गई। आपका कौन एडमिट है?
कोई नहीं, वो सामने का घर मेरा है। यहाँ लोग बड़े अकेले लगते हैं ना, तो चली आती हूँ उनके साथ चाय पीने। ब्रुक बॉर्न रेड लेबल, स्वाद अपनेपन का।
बार पेट दर्द, अब फिर से कड़वी दवाई।
कड़वी दवाई से बचना सिंपल है, हाइपर स्ट्रॉन्ग से नहाना है। जब जाए कीटाणु हाथ से मुंह, तब होती है बीमारी शुरू।
इसीलिए लाइफ बॉय स्ट्रॉन्ग, ये दे कीटाणुओं से 100% स्ट्रॉन्गर सुरक्षा।
दुनिया को तू छोड़ दे पीछे, हौसले के बांध ले फीते, मेहनत की सरजमीन पर हर सपना वो।
Ready, steady, go. Shuttle, let's go. Ready, steady, go.
लांघते हर कायदे को रास्ते पर आएंगे जो भान के नए, आसमां को अब कुल बादल।
Shuttle, let's go. Ready, steady, go.
रूप को संवारने की नई नई ये रीत है, धूप और माटी से ही निखरेगी ये जीत है।
Shuttle, let's go. Ready, steady, go. Shuttle, let's go. Ready, steady, go. क्या हुआ छोटी?
कुछ नहीं।
साक्षी रेडी हो गई? लड़के वाले आते ही होंगे। रेडी माँ। ओहो बड़ा ग्लो है चेहरे पर ये कोर्ट की ड्रेस। आज केस है ना माँ, लेकिन वो तुम्हें देखने आ रहे हैं।
तो देख लेने दो, चेहरे और कामयाबी दोनों का ग्लो। ग्लो एंड लवली, इसके मल्टीविटामिन्स गहराई तक जाए और दे HD ग्लो।
शर्मा फैमिली में पहली लॉयर होंगी आप।
चेहरे और कामयाबी का ग्लो।
ये रहे आपके 30 दिन के दूध के पैसे।
पर पिछला महीना तो 31 का था ना अम्मा।
वही रो। इसको क्या खिलाती हो?
पिलाती हूँ। अब हॉर्लिक्स में है प्रोटीन, विटामिन डी और फॉलिक एसिड जैसे 27 न्यूट्रिएंट्स जो बढ़ाए शारीरिक ग्रोथ और मेंटल शार्पनेस को। क्रिकेट में कैप्टन और मम्मी का मैनेजर।
थैंक यू।
காலையில அலாம் சத்தம் கடுப்பேத்துது.
அப்போ என்ன மாதிரி அலாம் வேணும் மேடம்க்கு?
சத்தம் போடாம அன்பா எழுப்பறலாம்.
ஒன்னு இருக்கு. அருமையான நறுமணம். இந்த அலாம் எப்படி?
எனக்கு பிடிச்ச நறுமணம் அலாம்.
மனதை தொடும் மனம் ப்ரூ.
बाउंड्री बड़ी क्यों? सुना है कि बड़ी बाउंड्रीज मारना लड़कियों के बस की बात नहीं है। चलो।
दीदी और कितनी बड़ी?
इतनी सबसे बड़े स्टेडियम में होती है।
6 needed to win. The boundaries are big.
Boost is the secret of my energy.
Boost is the secret of my energy.
एनर्जी।
सॉरी सर।
टेनिस कोर्ट में क्रिकेट?
लड़कियों का गेम टेनिस है, क्रिकेट नहीं।
गेम लड़के लड़कियों का नहीं, स्टैमिना का होता है।
तुम्हारा गेम देखते हैं।
Show you what I got, what I got.
क्योंकि जितना स्टैमिना होगा उतना बड़ा गेम होगा।
कल ग्राउंड में मिलते हैं क्रिकेट के।
Boost gives 3 times more stamina.
Boost is the secret of our energy.
रोहन बर्तन धो रहा? आज मदर्स डे है क्या? इसकी मम्मी का बर्थडे?
नहीं
तो फिर?
अपना इंडिपेंडेंस डे मना रहा है।
मतलब?
बर्तन धोना सिर्फ एक माँ का काम है, इस सोच से इंडिपेंडेंस। तू भी बन सकता है इंडिपेंडेंट जब विम की 100 नींबुओं की शक्ति कड़ी से कड़ी चिकनाई निकाल दे तो अपने बर्तन अपने आप।
அம்மாவோட ஃபேவரட் ட்ரெஸ். இன்னும் 20 மினிட்ஸ் இருக்கு.
புது சர்ஃப் எக்ஸல் மேட்டிக் லிக்விட் 20 மினிட்ஸ்ல கரகான். சாதாரண லிக்விட் போல இல்லாமல் இதுல இருக்கு இன்ஸ்டா ஸ்டெயின் லிஃப்ட் டெக்னாலஜி. 20 மினிட்ஸ்ல கரப்போச்சு.
एक दिन किसान को बंदर ने ललचाया।
दोस्त खराब है तो रूप बदल, काम चला। दोस्त एक खराब टमाटर भी सबको बिगाड़ दे। इसीलिए दोस्त हो या टमाटर, मैं चुनता हूँ सिर्फ सच्चे।
इसी सच्चाई और कुदरती लाल टमाटरों से बना है किसान टमेटो केचप।
किसान। अरे गोरिया प्लास्टिक कहाँ गई? आकर गोरिया, आकर आ
गोरिया 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 आकर आ
गोरिया
हटो हटो हटो। रेले गोरिया।
प्लास्टिक गोरिया जैसे नादान जानवरों की जान ले सकता है, इसीलिए हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर पुराने प्लास्टिक को रिसाइकलिंग के लिए इकट्ठा करता है। आप भी छोटी सी शुरुआत कीजिए, प्लास्टिक को अलग डस्टबिन में डाल के। हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, शुरू करें एक छोटी सी अच्छाई। मेरे बस्ती में ना कोई भी रात को पेट भर के खाना नहीं खाते। लड़की लोग, लेडीज लोग 3 बजे 4 बजे को अभी बाथरूम आ जाएगा ना, बाहर जाने के लिए बहुत डर लगते।
More than 1 billion humans live in urban slums globally. They have no access to safe and hygienic toilets, resulting in serious health implications. In line with the Sustainable Development Goals, Unilever is bringing access to hygiene and safe sanitation for all. But doing the same in slums without any infrastructure was a challenge. Presenting the Suvidha Center, a unique self-sustaining community hygiene center providing safe access to toilets, drinking water, showers, and laundromats. This Unilever initiative, in partnership with the Municipal Corporation of Mumbai and HSBC, has set up 12 such Suvidha centers. Each center has been inclusively designed for women, children, elderly, and persons with disabilities to ensure no one is left behind. They are open 24/7 and brightly lit for safety. With pricing as low as 1 cent per day, each Suvidha center provides safe sanitation to everyone. Moreover, all centers operate sustainably and save over 50 million liters of water every year. The Suvidha centers are further reinforced in the community with behavior change programs focused on hygiene and sanitation. More than 300,000 people now have access to safe sanitation. Partners are now building many more centers to facilitate access to the most basic human right, a healthy future. The Suvidha Center by Hindustan Unilever.
एक दिन हमारे गांव में किसी ने नहाने का शावर रख दिया। हमारे आधे गांव ने पानी पी लिया और एक शहर वाले का नहाना अभी खत्म ना हुआ। पानी का महत्व समझेंगे नहीं तो बचाएंगे कैसे? इसीलिए हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर ने किसी की मदद की 70,000 करोड़ लीटर से भी ज्यादा पानी बचाने में। आप भी छोटी सी शुरुआत कीजिए, थोड़ा सा पानी बचा के। हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, शुरू करें एक छोटी सी अच्छाई।
भाभी देखो आपके कचरे में क्या है। अपू कचरे के डिब्बे में क्या कर रहा है? क्या कर रहा है बेटा अंदर? सारा शहर जानना चाहता है कि आखिर ये बच्चा इस कचरे के डब्बे से क्यों नहीं निकलेगा।
अपू बेटा अपनी नानी को तो बताएगा ना।
इन्हें कितनी बार बताया कि अगर गीला कचरा और सूखा कचरा एक साथ फेंकेंगे तो मेरा फ्यूचर भी तो कचरे में जाएगा।
They taught me my shoulders were meant for lifting, my legs for kickstarting, my hands for dirtying, my head for butting.
Why is it still not done? I'll see you in the morning, okay? I'm just coming to office.
Dove believes a man's real strength shows in his care. Dove Men Plus Care thanks all men who are man enough to care.
बेटा कौन एडमिटेड है हॉस्पिटल में?
पापा।
चाय लोगे?
नहीं। एक कप। ये पीकर एकदम घर वाली फीलिंग आ गई। आपका कौन एडमिट है?
कोई नहीं, वो सामने का घर मेरा है। यहाँ लोग बड़े अकेले लगते हैं ना, तो चली आती हूँ उनके साथ चाय पीने।
ब्रुक बॉन्ड रेड लेबल, स्वाद अपनेपन का।
बार बार पेट दर्द, अब फिर से कड़वी दवाई।
कड़वी दवाई से बचना सिंपल है, लाइफ बॉय स्ट्रॉन्ग से नहाना है। जब जाए कीटाणु हाथ से मुंह, तब होती है बीमारी शुरू।
इसीलिए लाइफ बॉय स्ट्रॉन्ग, ये दे कीटाणुओं से 100% स्ट्रॉन्गर सुरक्षा।
दुनिया को तू छोड़ दे पीछे हौसले के बांध ले फीते मेहनत की सरजमीन पर हर सपना वो चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady glow चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady glow लांघते हर कायदे को रास्ते पर आएंगे जो फांद के नए आसमां को अब खुलवा दो चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady glow रूप को संवारने की नई नई ये रीत है धूप और माटी से ही निखरेगी ये जीत है चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady glow चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady
क्या हुआ छोटी?
कुछ नहीं।
अपने अरमानों को खुल के तो उड़ने दो हंस के छू लेने दो ये आसमां चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady glow 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 let's glow ready steady glow चलो लेट्स ग्लो ready steady glow चलो लेट्स ग्लो
साक्षी रेडी हो गई? लड़के वाले आते ही होंगे। रेडी माँ। ओहो बड़ा ग्लो है चेहरे पर ये कोर्ट की ड्रेस
आज केस है ना माँ,
लेकिन वो तुम्हें देखने आ रहे हैं।
तो देख लेने दो। चेहरे और कामयाबी दोनों का ग्लो। ग्लो एंड लवली, इसके मल्टीविटामिन्स गहराई तक जाए और दे HD ग्लो।
शर्मा फैमिली में पहली लॉयर होंगी आप।
चेहरे और कामयाबी का ग्लो।
ये रहे आपके 30 दिन के दूध के पैसे।
पर पिछला महीना तो 31 का था ना अम्मा।
वही नो। इसको क्या खिलाती हो?
पिलाती हूँ। अब हॉर्लिक्स में है प्रोटीन, विटामिन डी और फॉलिक एसिड जैसे 27 न्यूट्रिएंट्स जो बढ़ाए शारीरिक ग्रोथ और मेंटल शार्पनेस को। क्रिकेट में कैप्टन और मम्मी का मैनेजर।
थैंक यू।
காலையில அலாம் சத்தம் கடுப்பேத்துது.
அப்போ என்ன மாதிரி அலாம் வேணும் மேடம்க்கு?
சத்தம் போடாம அன்பா எழுப்புற அலாம்.
ஒன்னு இருக்கு. அருமையான நறுமணம். இந்த அலாம் எப்படி?
எனக்கு பிடிச்ச நறுமணம் அலாம்.
மனதை தொடும் மரம் ப்ரூ.
बाउंड्री बड़ी क्यों? सुना है कि बड़ी बाउंड्रीज मारना लड़कियों के बस की बात नहीं है।
चलो। दीदी और कितनी बड़ी?
इतनी सबसे बड़े स्टेडियम में होती है।
6 needed to win. The boundaries are big.
Boost is the secret of my energy.
Boost is the secret of my energy.
एनर्जी।
सॉरी सर।
टेनिस कोर्ट में क्रिकेट?
लड़कियों का गेम टेनिस है, क्रिकेट नहीं।
गेम लड़के लड़कियों का नहीं, स्टैमिना का होता है।
तुम्हारा गेम देखते हैं।
Show you what I got, what I got.
क्योंकि जितना स्टैमिना होगा उतना बड़ा गेम होगा।
कल ग्राउंड में मिलते हैं क्रिकेट के।
बूस्ट gives 3 times more stamina.
बूस्ट इज द सीक्रेट ऑफ आवर एनर्जी।
ये रोहन बर्तन धो रहा? आज मदर्स डे है क्या? इसकी मम्मी का बर्थडे?
नहीं
तो फिर
अपना इंडिपेंडेंस डे मना रहा है।
मतलब
बर्तन धोना सिर्फ एक माँ का काम है, इस सोच से इंडिपेंडेंस। तू भी बन सकता है इंडिपेंडेंट जब विम की 100 नींबुओं की शक्ति कड़ी से कड़ी चिकनाई निकाल दे तो अपने बर्तन अपने आप।
அம்மாவோட ஃபேவரட் ட்ரெஸ் இன்னும் 20 மினிட்ஸ் இருக்கு.
புது சர்ஃப் எக்ஸல் மேட்டிக் லிக்விட் 20 மினிட்ஸ்ல கரகான். சாதாரண லிக்விட் போல இல்லாமல் இதுல இருக்கு இன்ஸ்டா ஸ்டெயின் லிஃப்ட் டெக்னாலஜி. 20 மினிட்ஸ்ல கரப்போச்சு.
एक दिन किसान को बंदर ने ललचाया।
दोस्त खराब है तो रूप बदल, काम चला। दोस्त एक खराब टमाटर भी सबको बिगाड़ दे। इसीलिए दोस्त हो या टमाटर, मैं चुनता हूँ सिर्फ सच्चे।
इसी सच्चाई और कुदरती लाल टमाटरों से बना है किसान टमेटो केचप।
किसान। अरे गोरिया प्लास्टिक कहाँ गई? आकर गोरिया, आकर आ आ।
गोरिया 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 आकर आ। गोरिया
हटो हटो हटो, ये ले गोरिया।
प्लास्टिक गोरिया जैसे नादान जानवरों की जान ले सकता है, इसीलिए हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर पुराने प्लास्टिक को रिसाइकलिंग के लिए इकट्ठा करता है। आप भी छोटी सी शुरुआत कीजिए, प्लास्टिक को अलग डस्टबिन में डाल के। हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, शुरू करें एक छोटी सी अच्छाई।
मेरे बस्ती में ना कोई भी रात को पेट भर के खाना नहीं खाते। लड़की लोग, लेडीज लोग 3 बजे 4 बजे कभी बाथरूम आ जाएगा ना, बाहर जाने के लिए बहुत डर लगते।
More than 1 billion humans live in urban slums globally. They have no access to safe and hygienic toilets, resulting in serious health implications. In line with the Sustainable Development Goals, Unilever is bringing access to hygiene and safe sanitation for all. But doing the same in slums without any infrastructure was a challenge. Presenting the Suvidha Center, a unique self-sustaining community hygiene center providing safe access to toilets, drinking water, showers, and laundromats. This Unilever initiative, in partnership with the Municipal Corporation of Mumbai and HSBC, has set up 12 such Suvidha centers. Each center has been inclusively designed for women, children, elderly, and persons with disabilities to ensure no one is left behind. They are open 24/7 and brightly lit for safety. With pricing as low as 1 cent per day, each Suvidha center provides safe sanitation to everyone. Moreover, all centers operate sustainably and save over 50 million liters of water every year. The Suvidha centers are further reinforced in the community with behavior change programs focused on hygiene and sanitation. More than 300,000 people now have access to safe sanitation. Are now building many more centers to facilitate access to the most basic human right, a healthy future. The Suvidha Center by Hindustan Unilever.
एक दिन हमारे गांव में किसी ने नहाने का शावर रख दिया। हमारे आधे गांव ने पानी पी लिया और एक शहर वाले का नहाना अभी खत्म ना हुआ। पानी का महत्व समझेंगे नहीं तो बचाएंगे कैसे? इसीलिए हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर ने किसानों की मदद की 70,000 करोड़ लीटर से भी ज्यादा पानी बचाने में। आप भी छोटी सी शुरुआत कीजिए, थोड़ा सा पानी बचा के। हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, शुरू करें एक छोटी सी अच्छाई।
भाभी देखो आपके कचरे में क्या है। अपू कचरे के डिब्बे में क्या कर रहा है? क्या कर रहा है बेटा अंदर? सारा शहर जानना चाहता है कि आखिर ये बच्चा इस कचरे के डब्बे से क्यों नहीं निकलेगा।
अपू बेटा अपनी नानी को तो बताएगा ना।
इन्हें कितनी बार बताया कि अगर गीला कचरा और सूखा कचरा एक साथ फेंकेंगे तो मेरा फ्यूचर भी तो कचरे में जाएगा।
They taught me my shoulders were meant for lifting, my legs for kickstarting, my hands for dirtying, my head for butting.
Why is it still not done? I'll see you in the morning, okay? I'm just coming to office.
Dove believes a man's real strength shows in his care. Dove Men Plus Care thanks all men who are man enough to care.
बेटा कौन एडमिटेड है हॉस्पिटल में?
पापा।
चाय लोगे?
नहीं। एक कप। ये पीकर एकदम घर वाली फीलिंग आ गई। आपका कौन एडमिट है?
कोई नहीं, वो सामने का घर मेरा है। यहाँ लोग बड़े अकेले लगते हैं ना, तो चली आती हूँ उनके साथ चाय पीने।
ब्रुक बॉन्ड रेड लेबल, स्वाद अपनेपन का।
Welcome back to all of you, our shareholders who've joined the 90th AGM. I hope you enjoyed watching the ads that your company has produced over the last year. It gave me certainly the time to cluster all your questions and be able to respond to you more effectively. I definitely will try and cover every question that you have asked. But it is likely either because the line was not so good that I didn't entirely capture some of what you might have said. So if any of you feel that your question has not been addressed, please feel free to write in to us and our team will respond to you. Now, let me begin. There were a few common themes that I noticed, and if there was one theme that struck me as I listened to all of you, that was a theme which complemented the management team, Mr. Mehta and his leadership team, which has managed this business so effectively on behalf of all of you. So I echo your sentiments that you expressed, and I too, on behalf of the board, would compliment the management team in terms of how they've responded. So thank you all for that. It does mean a lot. There were two other comments that different people made. And one of them was to this sense that each one of you had only 2 minutes to speak, and that getting 2 minutes once in a year feels inadequate for you to share your thoughts. I understand the sentiment with which you express it. All I would say is just look back to all the people who spoke and ask yourself whether anyone was indeed stopped at the end of 2 minutes. No one was. And the idea of indicating be brief was simply to allow you to be sharp, be respectful to other people, and allow as many people as possible to get the opportunity to ask questions and make comments. But as you noticed, we did allow everyone the opportunity to say and express what they had on their minds. Then there was another theme that came across around the AGM. And there were a few of you who were very keen that the AGM must get back to becoming a physical meeting. But equally, you would have noticed that several other shareholders saw the benefit and value of holding a virtual meeting because it allowed more people to participate in an event like this. What this means for us going forward, we will have to figure out, but clearly there is a merit in having this virtual connect, as indeed there is some value of getting our shareholders together in person. So we will figure out how to handle this, but your feedback is taken and understood. Having said this, there were a few other themes that came across, and I've clustered these themes around the following topics. One of them was around our industry overall. What's happening to the FMCG industry? What prospects do you see going forward for the industry and therefore obviously for us as a company and for the company that you own? What is our view on competition? How are we responding to competition? And how will we make sure that this company continues to do well? That is the second theme which was there. There was a theme around innovation, R&D, the investments which we are making. There was a theme around the near-term outlook on margins. People commented on as commodity cost comes down, what's likely to happen to prices, etc. There were a lot of questions, interestingly, around sustainability, around what we are doing around on carbon, on waste, etc. That's and I will comment on that as well. As expected, and that's no surprise, this year too we had a lot of questions around bonus shares. When were they issued? Can we have when can we have the next bonus share, etc. And finally, I think there was a theme around gender diversity. Where do we find ourselves with people with disability, etc. So these are some of the themes that came across in questions and comments from several of you, and I will address them once in an overall narrative and then go through the questions which have not been addressed. I will go through person by person to see if some specific questions have been asked, which I can address. So that's going to be my approach as we move forward. So let's begin first with the industry and the prospects that we see for the industry. So all of you as shareholders of this company should feel very good that we participate in a very attractive industry. As the country, India, sees good prospects going forward and sees the likelihood of continuing to be amongst the fastest growing economies in the world, and we would see the FMCG market also growing. The opportunities for growth are significant. At current levels, the FMCG consumption in the country is well below many of our other countries, and I'll give you just an example. The FMCG per capita consumption in this country is about $50. If you were to take a country like Indonesia, it would be twice that. If you were to take a country like China, it would be 3 times that. And in some of the other countries like Philippines, Thailand, etc., it's even higher. So it just gives you a sense as to how much opportunity still exists. Now, while the market has great opportunity, you'd be pleased to know that we as a company are very well placed to address that opportunity. We've been around in this country for long. We understand the Indian consumer. We've invested to build strong positions. 85% of our business comes from categories where we have clear market leadership and are the clear number one. We've got great brands, 50 plus brands operating in 16 categories. We've got great people. We are the employer of choice and continue to attract fine people and are known to be the company which develops people well. And we have actively been working to deepen our capabilities to ready ourselves for the evolving and changing India that we are going to find ourselves in. Investments that we made in digital. Some of you talked of the Digital Agile Hub, the investment, the Reimagine HUL investments which have been made. All of them around digital and data, which will make us a company which has got the relevant capabilities to win in the emerging markets. So all of you should feel very good about this. If I was to move on to the obvious question which comes from here, which many of you raised, what's happening with competition? Different people use different company names. You talked about Patanjali, some of you talked about the new digital brands which are coming up. And all of it is true, by the way. We, as a company, we may be leaders, but we remain very vigilant because in the consumer goods industry, we cannot afford to take our eye off the ball. The market is and the consumer needs are changing and evolving very rapidly, and we need to be responsive and address those. On the other hand, it is worth remembering that given the growth that we are likely to see in the market, this is not a zero-sum game. There is no reason why your company cannot continue to grow well and strongly and continue to deliver good returns, even with competition coming into these spaces. And the third thing I would say is that we will continue to succeed as long as we remain relentlessly focused on the consumer and the consumer needs and make sure that we are fully focused in serving those well. As long as you do that, we will continue to grow. And we start off from a good position. So that's really all I would say from a competition standpoint. Yes, it is intense. Yes, we keep an eye on it, and we will respond as required to address the consumer and the competitive challenges. Arising from this, some of you talked about what's likely to happen in the near term. What's likely to happen in terms of as commodity costs start coming down, inflation comes down, what's likely to happen? And I think the answer to that should be clear, which is in the short term, we will continue to see uncertainty and volatility as we shift from a period of extremely high inflation, which required us to take high price increases, to a position where pricing will taper off. In some cases, we have even begun bringing prices down modestly. And what that means is that over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months, as we move forward, the balance between volume growth and price increases will undergo a change. We will see less pricing and much more volume growth coming in. How it will transition and in what exact manner, that time will tell. But your company is extremely conscious and aware of this transition and is keeping an eye and making sure we remain competitive in the marketplace. It will also mean, as we move forward, the nature of growth will undergo a change between urban markets, rural markets, but this is something that this business has continued to do and will continue to do going forward. Some of you talked about some of the capabilities required, what it would take us to win, data, digital, etc. And I referred to it. While a lot is changing, there are one or two things that we can be relatively sure of, that the world will become more digital, that digital will change the way we do our business. That's why Reimagine HUL was conceived in 2016. And today, frankly, it pretty much encompasses the whole organization. And the second thrust is going to be around sustainability. There are many areas that you should feel very, very proud of what the company has done. Whether it is the Agile Innovation Hub that you talked of, and one of you asked for what investment we've made and capex that we've incurred. I'm sorry I can't give you the exact numbers, not because we don't share the exact, not because I wouldn't know, but because we don't tend to share capex information at that granular level. Suffice to say that Innovation Hub that we've put in is state of the art. It has the ability to sense trends as they are emerging. It has the ability to develop prototypes very quickly and rapidly crash the innovation cycle time, because in the world that we are coming in, the fast will beat slow and not necessarily the big beating small. And we would aspire to be not just big and benefit from scale, but also be agile. And that's really where all of that comes in. We've also invested in an app called Shikhar. The Shikhar app is quite incredible. It's the most widely deployed app and used by the retailers. 1.2 million retailers across the country use that app. And not many would know that we've reached a situation where 30% of the turnover of this company is now digitally captured across Shikhar or the D2C websites, the 16 of them that we've got at this moment. So lots going on at this moment, and we continue to build capability of our people by continuously upskilling them to be able to remain relevant in the times that are coming. There were many questions that you asked around our goals in sustainability. What are we doing? They were centered around largely to do with our carbon footprint, but also around plastics and water. These were the areas that you spoke of. And the first headline message I'd like to give you is that you should feel reassured that your company has been one of the top ESG rated companies. It's not what I say, it's not what your management team says out here. It is independently assessed by leading ESG rating agencies like Dow Jones and Sustainalytics. It should not be too surprising because doing well by doing good has been the ethos of this company for the last 90 years, ever since that we have been in this organization. We have only deepened that. And if I was to go through goal by goal, if you take the first goal, which is around carbon footprint, the climate emergency that we've put in place specific objectives. The first one has about being having zero emissions in our operations by 2030, our own operations, and getting to net zero emissions across our value chain from sourcing to the point of sale by 2039. These are big, bold, ambitious goals, but it's easy to have the goals. It requires rigor and discipline to get to those outcomes. You will be pleased to know that as a company in our own operations, we've reduced our carbon footprint by 97% over the 2008 base. So the carbon footprint and the carbon per ton of production has come down by 97% over the 2008 base that we've got. 93% of all the energy that is used in our operations, in our factories, now comes from renewable sources. And that's a wonderful position to find ourselves in. Now, water is the second area that you called out. Again, an area that should swell your hearts with pride, that this company recognizes that water will become a big challenge for the country. And as a part of the Hindustan Unilever Foundation that has been set up, over the last several years, this company has been investing in building water conservation capacity in the country, working with several partners. In this period, the cumulative water conservation capacity enhanced by the organization is 2.6 trillion liters of water. Now, 2.6 trillion liters sounds like a large number, but we can't really relate to it. So I want to contextualize this for you. It effectively means that it is the equivalent of almost 2 years of drinking water for every Indian that is there, the 1.4 billion Indians around. That's the amount of water conservation capacity that this company, working with partners, has generated over a period of time. We've also reduced the water consumption in our own operations by 47% per unit of production, and that's a big progress as well. Let me move on to plastic, which was the third area that you talked about. Now, as a company, we have a bold goal that has been articulated, that we will get 100% of our plastic packaging will become reusable, recyclable, or compostable. That's the goal that we've set for ourselves. And in order to deliver on this goal, we have a framework of using less plastic by moving to lightweight ingredients, effective, strong, but still lightweight, using technology, using better plastic, and of course, using no plastic. That's the framework that we've got, and we continue to work in this area. We look for ways by which we can replace virgin plastic with recycled plastic. We look for lightweighting our bottles and our sachets, and some of you pointed it out when it came to the Horlicks 5 rupee sachet. It felt light, might have felt flimsy, but it is only because we are using better plastic, but it is not flimsy, and it still delivers and does the job that is required. Now, you would also be very proud to know that in this period, we continue to be responsible. And the act of responsibility is to make sure that we collect more plastic than what we put out. The last 2 years, we've been collecting more plastic, working with our partners, than the amount of plastic that we use in our production. Last year, we collected more than 1 lakh tons of plastic, and probably are leading in this space. We are reducing waste. Our waste generated from the factories has come down by 55% per ton of production. And all of this, while it helps the environment, when you reduce the usage of water, when you reduce the usage of energy in our factories, or indeed the waste in our factories, are good for sustainability, but are also good for our business because this saves money as we do things like this. I hope it gives you a good sense of the effort that your company is putting in to become future fit as these areas become more important. Yeah. Let me come to people talked about, and again, I'm not going in any logical order, but around the clustering of thoughts which were there. But there is some linkage. In all the effort that we are putting in on sustainability, we have to find solutions to very hard problems. How do you take sachets and make them recyclable? That's not easy. But that's where efforts come in, where R&D initiatives come into play, our partnerships with other people come into play, and the investment that we make in R&D is critical in this area. Once again, we benefit enormously by being a part of Unilever. Unilever globally has over 5,000 scientists who are working across 8 different centers. But it's not just in the rest of the world. In India itself, we have 700 scientists and 100 PhDs whom we've got. And this enables us to work on the things that really matter. We have, is helping us come up with the innovations which are required in order to remain relevant. Talking about innovations, this company has produced over 900 crores of incremental turnover coming from products which did not exist, completely new offerings brought into the market in the last 2 years. Many new brands, some of them are digital-only brands, some of them are catering to the nude spaces in beauty, particularly in beauty, which are coming up. Brands like Acne Squad, Find Your Happy Space, or Novology are all brands which have been launched in the recent past. Then let me come back to a question that many of you asked, which was around bonus issues. Why can we not give bonus issues? And the only way, and somebody asked when was the last time we gave a bonus issue. I was trying to look at what the last time was. I think the last time we gave a bonus issue was in 1991 when it was 1:2, and in 2003 there was a bonus debenture that we gave. So for the last 20 odd years we haven't done it. But each one of you would agree that just because we haven't given a bonus issue, it hasn't meant that the returns to our shareholders have been compromised. Over the last 10 years, we have beaten the Nifty and the Sensex by a handsome margin. We've returned 5 times when the Nifty and the Sensex has gone up by about 3 times. So our commitment is to deliver returns to our shareholders, and we do that by running our business very well, efficiently on your behalf, and finding the most efficient way to deliver returns. So capital appreciation that you've seen and the dividend, our cumulative dividend that we've given is 250% in this period. So I understand the spirit and the intent of the question, but you should feel secure and comfortable that this company is 100% focused on delivering good returns for you in the long term, and it has done a great job. Whether we give a bonus issue or not is less relevant. And talking about giving returns, I think in order to do that, we have to keep growing our business. We have to make sure that our margins are protected, but above all else, we have to make sure that our consumer franchise is protected. Some of you talked about when will our margins be restored. They will be restored. Over the next coming years, we will be restoring our gross margin, which has got compromised over the last 2 years, is important, and we will take the right measures in order to do so. Again, something that should give you comfort is that this team that you've got will manage the business with the long term in mind, and the best way to deliver long-term returns is to make sure that you keep protecting and growing your consumer franchise. And that's what this team will continue to do. Those were some of the big themes that were across. And yes, there was one probably clearly an important point because many of you raised it, but different from running the business. And that was this whole question of your desire and interest to visit some of our factories and plants. And the question which you said that we haven't had that for a while. It is true that we haven't had that for a while, but the reason should be quite obvious. We've had a period of COVID where it wasn't safe for us to actually organize trips like this. We will try and restore this. We will inform you. As you can imagine, in order to manage it effectively, it cannot have unlimited numbers going to a factory. So it will be first come, first serve. But we will run this because clearly there is fair amount of interest from many of you to go and see your operations. And frankly, I'm delighted because it shows that you are keen and you take great interest into your company. Now, that said, I'm now going to go through some individual questions that you might have asked, which may not have got covered adequately through what I've said. I'll start off with Jaideep Bakshi. I think, Mr. Bakshi, I think you asked many questions, but most of the questions that you asked would have got covered in the responses that I had. You had also sent written questions, and you were very kind not to repeat all of them because in the interest of time, and therefore I do want to respect the fact that you had sent these. And there was one question that you had asked about cybersecurity, which you had sent across, and I would want to address that question on cybersecurity and data privacy. Once again, I am very pleased that you recognize how big a concern this is and how this will become more important as the world overall becomes more and more digital. Thankfully, you would be pleased to know that there is a very high degree of focus within the organization on the subject of cybersecurity, because every single day companies like ours and others are subject to threats, and we need a framework which is risk-based in order to, and a layered approach to determine the areas that we must be more vigilant in. Our framework also has a concept called as prevent, detect, and then if we haven't found a way to prevent it, we must detect it quickly. And if, despite all of this, we do get attacked and it is severe, then we must have a response mechanism which is able to deal with this. We leverage Unilever's expertise in this area deeply, and we have a program by which we protect not just our assets, but are looking to see how we keep an eye on our interactions with many of our partners and customers, because the threat could come from any source. So I hope with the best-in-class systems and security operations and a control center that we put in place, we continue to remain vigilant and give you comfort. I don't think there was any other key question, because I think all of your questions were important for the others and we addressed them. I'm going to move on to the next shareholders, Mr. and Mrs. Sharat Kumar and Sulekha Shah. Again, I would say, Mr. Shah, your line was particularly bad, and therefore it is likely that I could not capture many of the questions that you asked, or certainly the nuances that you might have had. I apologize for that. Please feel free to write to us with anything that you feel has not been addressed. And I will try and address the few questions which I did pick up. I think you had asked a question which is around something around how has what's happened to our investment and recoveries, which is the return from our investments over the last 10 years. I think you were referring to and wanting to assess whether we demonstrate capital discipline in the way we choose to invest. And there you should feel good that there is strong capital discipline in the business. Our return on capital employed as a company is over 100%. Return on capital employed, yes, you heard me right, it is more than 100%, and you should feel pleased of that. And we have a strong discipline where we try and make sure that the capital that we invest in every year is broadly in line with the depreciation of the year, so that we don't keep increasing the net capital base of this company. That said, we do not. You should again feel comfortable that we don't starve our business of resource. We will invest as opportunities come for growth, for innovation, for savings, but this team has managed that quite well. Now, you asked a question around which I could pick up. You referred to page 263, and I thought you referred to something in the area of what happens in R&D and what is the value of the technology investments that we are making. I hope my early answer, which I gave about the 5,000 odd professionals, the ability to leverage capability from across 8 different R&D centers, and the benefits that we get as we invest to work towards new innovations, but also sustainable technologies, the renewable energy, etc. So hopefully the money that we are spending through the technology payouts that we've got is put to good use. Let me move on to see whether there's something else that you had asked, which I'd like to, I think, comment on. No, I think there was nothing else that I picked up, but if I missed something, please do write to us and we will respond. I think shareholder number 4 had, again, I compliment Mr. Bopanna. I think Mr. Bopanna, again, you've clearly are very invested in this company, and vested certainly, because you've done a lot of work. You've sent in several questions, and I would want to respond to a few of them, which I didn't respond in general terms. I think you had sent a question around organic growth versus inorganic growth, mergers, etc. Again, the answer to that is obvious. We rely on both, and as you would have seen, organic growth continues to be the largest contributor to growth, but we continue to acquire new companies, but also divest some businesses to make sure that your portfolio is most relevant for the future. For obvious reasons, I can't talk about what might be in the pipeline and what we might be looking at going forward. You had a question around, a very specific question around average age of our employees and gender contribution by in the company, and what is the average age of men and women. You talked of retention. Well, I can tell you that the average age in the company is 36. The average age for the men is 38 and women is 32. We continue to attract the finest talent. Our attrition rates are well below the industry average. We are the employer of choice for several years, and we continue to be the employer of choice. The details that you're looking forward to are provided in our annual report. I know it's a very thick report and you might not have found it easily, but I could point you to the right place. Go to page 113 and you would find the information that you're looking for. I think you had questions around alternative protein and plant-based protein. I think, again, a great question. It's a big trend across the world, not so big in India as yet, but once again, the benefit, Unilever does have technology in alternative plant-based protein that we are using. We have brands launched in other parts of the world. And at the right moment, when the team believes the time is right, it will be available for us to bring to India. What else? Yeah, I think I would have responded to some of the other questions that you had. Let me move on to shareholder number 5. Mr. Aspi Bhesania. Mr. Bhesania, I think you had several questions. You asked about the physical AGM, which I've addressed. I think you make an important point about the demographic dividend, if not managed well, could become a liability, and you are right. if you recollect in my speech, I do refer to this being a challenge. There are many young people who are coming into the working age group, and it is critical that we as a country find a way to create jobs or employment generation opportunities by stimulating enterprise and innovation and creating small businesses. And those are increasing, but that's why it's not just what GDP growth we get, it is the balance of that growth between employment and productivity-led growth is important. A specific question that you had on price control, the answer is in our categories, there are no products which come under price control, so that's not an issue that we've got. You asked a question around Oziva, whether it's too expensive. All I can say is that we do benchmark across brands and which deliver similar benefits, and we feel confident that Oziva is priced at levels which are competitive and in line with the benefits and the value that it offers. To deliver what Oziva is promising, we have to put in really high quality ingredients into the product, and that does make it expensive. Of course, this company will continue to see how we can make things more as affordable as is possible. There was a question around AI that you asked, and once again, this company is working as you would expect, wanting to be at the cutting edge of technology and trying to see how we can leverage AI in as broad number of use cases as is possible. At this moment, we use AI in a tool that internally we call Jarvis. Jarvis is our pricing tool. We use it in an app that has gone to 1.2 million people called Shikhar. It helps make recommendations in terms of what's likely to be out of stock and what should be the focus of the salesman as he enters into a store or she enters into a store. And of course, in the digital factory, which we are running in Dapada, which is our first lighthouse factory in the country. And these are different areas that we continue to use AI. AI comes with its challenges. We need to keep in mind that there are issues related to privacy that we must be careful of, and make sure that we take the benefits of AI while being cognizant to some of the risks which are involved. Let me move on to shareholder number 6, I think. Shareholder number 6, which is Manoj Gupta. Yes, Manoj Gupta from Kolkata. I think once again, I've responded to quite a few questions, but I would want to address one specific question that you asked around competition and ice cream that you spoke of. I'll address that question. Let's take ice cream. I think it's a business that has been growing quite rapidly, but penetrations are still small, low, and therefore there's plenty of opportunity for us to grow. How will we compete and how will we win against other big players and local competition that you talk about? Frankly, no differently from how we will win in any of the other categories. And that means being obsessed about consumers and giving them innovations, which is really great products. And in the case of ice cream, delightful offerings, which people love and they enjoy and they want to come back to at price points which make sense and gives them great value. That's the first thing that we have to do. And in order to do that, we have to leverage our insights with consumers, but also technology and the innovation engine that we've got in this company, and the strength of our great brands. When we do that, we will keep winning against people with our brands, and I think running our business efficiently. These are some of the ways by which we will continue to compete in ice cream. And innovation is in many different forms. We innovate with our products, but we also innovate in our business models. I don't know how many of you are aware, but if you are not, I'd encourage each one of you to explore. I don't think it's in every city in the country, but it is in several cities. We have a model which we call Ice Cream Now, where you could be sitting in your home. You suddenly feel the urge for having an ice cream. You could go onto your app and look for instant delivery. It's available through many different platforms, and you could probably get ice cream in your home over the next 10-15 minutes. Maybe even before the AGM comes to an end, you might want to give it a shot. If you don't get that ice cream, send the feedback. We will try and make the service better in the locality that you're in. But lots of innovation happening in that area. And in general, a distribution that some of you talked about, I think we are available in over 9 million outlets through 3,500 stores. We're leveraging e-commerce. We're doing D2C websites. So lots of work going on in this space. What else did... I think there was a question that you asked around royalty. It was also asked later on, and I'm going to combine this and respond to this question around royalty that has been asked at this moment. Or maybe I'll club it together and come back right at the end. But I just want you to know that we haven't forgotten the fact that you had asked this question. Let's move to shareholder number 7, Dharmesh Praveen Vakil. Mr. Vakil, you also had, you commented that you didn't like the time limit. I did respond to you. You asked about how we have chosen to move from 2.65% to 3.45%, and what the thinking and rationale is. And I will come back to it. Suffice to say that we do good quality benchmarking in this area, but I will come back to this question. You wanted to visit factories, and we've covered it as well. Mr. Om Prakash Kejriwal, who was the next speaker, I have to say, you were quite exceptional in terms of demonstrating how big a role our brands play in the lives of our consumers. It is virtually impossible to go through a day without using several of your products. I endorse that fully, but I would not advise you to do what you otherwise said. I do not think that BVK Bina Rehna is not great advice to anyone of us. So I think our products have a role to play, as indeed our families. So, but I understand the spirit of what you were talking about at that moment. You talked about Horlicks sachet. I did respond to it. It has become thinner. It is by choice. But hopefully that sachet which you get is still sturdy and does its job. The Badam Kesar Horlicks that you talked about, I can't be specific in terms of its relaunch, but I have noted that there is at least, like you, there are probably many other passionate consumers of this brand. On commodity cost and pricing, I have responded. We will be focused on margins going up, gross margins particularly, and some prices have started tapering off at this moment. You did have not such a good experience with Carvi. And I just want you to know that we have regular conversation with Carvi almost on a weekly basis on all matters, and we do review the overall service levels. There are clear metrics that are in place to resolve issues, and we track it. It's not just that the management does this. Data on this is presented to the board in terms, and there is a stakeholder management committee that we've got which looks at all of this. And on an aggregate basis, we feel satisfied. But the issue that you've raised tells us that clearly we need to investigate this in some more detail, and we will look into this, the specific area that you've called out. Let me move on to the next shareholder, which is Ms. Lekha Shah from Mumbai. Ms. Shah, you were keen to understand in this whole area of in our market shares in our beauty and personal care business, how are we doing, especially given many new competitors coming in? The only way I can say to you is you are right that we should be careful. There are many new players coming in, particularly in the space as consumers are seeking differentiated and value-added benefits. But the good news is that our market share is 4 times more or higher than the next largest competitor in this beauty and personal care space. So we are in a good place, we have a large business, and we continue to innovate to remain the leader in this area. I think you had a question which which had sent across, which you didn't ask, which was around the how much did we pay for the Horlicks brand alone? Again, it is we paid 3,045 crores for the brand, and if you want more details about the overall deal, then page 336 of our annual report has further details on the merger. Now, let me move on to the next shareholder, Mr. Manjeet Singh. Mr. Manjeet Singh from Delhi. You had several good suggestions, and I'd thank you for those. It shows that you care. You talked about the counterfeit products that you tend to see, and you were keen to understand whether we are aware of it. Yes, we are absolutely aware of it. We have a team which is vigilant and is routinely taking actions against the different counterfeits which are around. We work with the enforcement authorities and with the police in different states, districts, and different places to bring these people or to identify them and to bring them to task and to stop their operations. We conduct, in fact, our understanding in this space is such that we often conduct workshops even for the police to help them identify and find out where is this activity going on and help them become more efficient, because that helps us. So we are doing a lot of work in this space. You called out specifically Shipra Enterprises in East Delhi, where you are struggling with the quality of service, or you believe it's not good enough. Thank you for that feedback. We have 3,500 distributors. But overall, we are very pleased. But from time to time, there will be areas like this. We ourselves look for that feedback, but we will look into this. What else? You had... yes, you had one other question, which was around our ice cream, and that there are some company, AMUL or some other companies might be talking about milk-based products and our products not being milk-based or are classified as frozen desserts. Let me simply explain the following. First of all, in the Quality Walls range, we have both, first, or let me put it differently. All products that we put into the market have to meet certain, have a nomenclature which meets with the requirements of, in this case, the Food Safety Standards Regulation. And the food safety and standards which are there suggest that products need to be named based on the amount of protein and fat and the source of that protein and fat. Products, and basis that, some products are called as ice cream and some products are called as frozen dessert. Yeah? All our products, and by the way, we have both ice cream and frozen desserts in our portfolio. That's point number one. Point number two, irrespective of whether it is ice cream or a frozen dessert, all of them have protein which comes from, or fat or solids which come from milk. So, but the fat which is there in the products, in the case of frozen desserts, comes from vegetables as the source, and when that happens, they are required to be called as frozen desserts. Now, frozen desserts have certain characteristics. Because of the fact that the fat comes from proteins, these have much lower saturated fat content and are actually trans fat free. How do we deal with this? Firstly, as far as the consumer is concerned, all our work shows that consumers are really concerned with us offering them delightful products, products which appeal to their palate, products which they love and they find, and that's what we are here to do, and that's what we will keep doing. The second thing, of course, we will educate consumers as we move forward, that the products that we've got and the difference between what we've talked about. With that, let me move on to Mr. Ashit Kumar Pathak. Mr. Ashit Kumar Pathak, you had again several questions that you asked. You, of course, had compliments. You asked a question around cyber security, which I have addressed. You asked a question around the CapEx around Agile Innovation Hub. I shared with you that we would not want to disclose CapEx behind specific projects and initiatives. And then you talked about millets, and this being the year of millets, and what is it that we are doing. I think, yes, it's the year of millets. Our brand Horlicks has launched 2 products. We've launched the Horlicks chocolates, which is millet-based. We have also launched Horlicks biscuits, which are millet-based. So again, I use this as examples to give you a sense that we are conscious of, aware, and of this trend that we see in this country at this time. What else? I think you asked for the reasons why we had terminated the GSK OTC arrangement that we've got, and does it have a material financial loss? Well, HUL and GSK had entered into a consignment selling arrangement in 2020. It was for the distribution of GSK's over-the-counter and oral health products, products like Sensodyne and Eno and Crocin, etc. We had earned 333 crores of commission in this year, which is FY23. For various reasons, which I would rather not get into in this forum, commercial reasons, we decided to mutually terminate the agreement. And yes, in the short term, there will be some margin headwind that this will cause. But this company has deep expertise in being able to offset things like this. When you run a company over 50,000 crores every year, there are some things which are headwinds and there are some things which are tailwinds, and this company has expertise in terms of managing that. I think you asked a question around ONDC and our participation. I compliment you to be so aware of what the ONDC as a commerce platform offers. But again, you should be pleased that we were probably amongst the first FMCG companies to collaborate with the ONDC on the initiative, and have launched our D2C platform, UShop, using the ONDC protocols. With that, I think I will move to, I think, was there a question around attrition rate? I would say I've responded briefly, but go to page 113. Our BRSR provides all the details that you might need. Let's move on. I move on to shareholder number 12, which is Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf from Kolkata. Firstly, thank you for all the compliments that you had for the team. There were 2 specific areas that you had asked, which were around women workers in the company and around disabled employees. How many do we have? I think in women workers, I could say, I'd give you 3 numbers as statistics. The first is that we have 40% of our management happens to be now women. This from a position of 18% in 2010, and you can see how over the last 13, 14 years, we made big progress. In our overall office staff, management, non-management, the number is 26%. And if you take our shop floor, which is our factory workers, the number is 3%. The effort now, as you can imagine, is to see how can we have more women in our factories. We've already started work in that area. I think 850 women have already been employed in our factories, and Sumerpur factory, which is soon going to be the first factory which will become gender balanced over the next 12 months for sure. In our sales force as well, we are recruiting salespeople who are women. We've got, I think, over 1,000 Ahilyas, as we call them, already, and that's what we've done in this space. On people with disability, we have 78 people with disability who are working with us. You'll get more details on page 112 of our annual report. And while this is a modest start that we've made, but we are thinking through this very systematically, and we aspire to have about 5% of our population with people having different abilities by 2025. That's not in the too distant future. And that's the goal that we've set for ourselves. Right. Then I move to, yes, I think I've covered the questions of Ms. Smita Bharat Shah as well. I think there were questions around gender that you had asked, how many Ahilyas that we've, oh, there was a slightly different question that you had on Ahilyas and the celebration that you talked about, Mr. Bharat Shah had had. I think it wasn't a celebration, Ahilya celebration, it was 50 Ahilyas. Out of the 850 Ahilyas that we have were called for a celebration, and that took place in Lucknow. I'm pleased to hear that you were happy with the investor service that you were getting from our team. Many of you, by the way, many of you commented on that, and that's really nice because it encourages and motivates our team to continue delivering you the best service that we possibly can. Let's move on to Mr. Ashish Shankar Bansal. Mr. Bansal, let's see what questions might have, or the ones which you asked have not been addressed. I think I've addressed, Mr. Bansal, all your questions. You had questions around growth, R&D, and what we are doing in that space. I think I've addressed those. You complimented us on several areas. So yes, I've covered what you had to ask or say. So let me move on to the Mr. Was it Mr. Gopalda, Dinesh Gopaldas Bhatia, as the next person who was around? Yeah. Mr. Bhatia, you asked a question around royalty, and I think there were one or two others who had also asked it. Maybe this is the time for me to address this comprehensively. Now, the contract terms that we've got, as you can imagine, were subject to a very detailed evaluation and due diligence, first by the senior team from within the company. And the company assessed the situation, and they came up with recommendations. And recommendations which first went to the audit committee. The audit committee looked at what the team was recommending, evaluated it thoroughly, and went back to the company and made certain, gave them some feedback, gave them some suggestions. The audit committee, by the way, before doing this, took into consideration findings of an external assessment which was carried out. This external assessment was looked at benchmarks, other FMCG companies, which are MNCs, what sort of comparable levels of royalty are being paid. We had this done by Deloitte, which carried out this work, and they fed their feedback, they gave their feedback to the audit committee. This was then presented to the board. The board found that the recommendations were fair and sensible, that there was a balance between the benefit that we were getting and the value that we were paying through our royalty. And as a consequence, we agreed to the royalty increasing from levels of about 2.65% at this moment, which is the royalty plus the central services which are there, to levels of 3.45%. But the royalty is really about 0.95, will go up to 0.95 over a period of time over the next 2 to 3 years. Those are some of the changes that have been made. And after plenty of due diligence and satisfying ourselves that we are getting adequate value for this payment, that is royalty payment, which is being made. What else did you have? I think, no, there was no other question that you had. Let me move on to Mr. Aloysius Mascarenhas. Mr. Mascarenhas, I think you had a specific question. You wanted to know what was happening with how much, what were our exports and revenue, and what was our import revenue in light of the fact that the dollar rupee keeps fluctuating. How are we managing this? Well, I can tell you that our export earnings, which are essentially of ethnic brands which are sold in India, which are catering to the Indian diaspora in the US, in the UK, in the Middle East, in Canada, etc. We earn a revenue of 1,574 crores in the year FY23. We also end up importing commodities largely, which are ingredients or raw materials into your products, and the outflow has been 3,695 crores in FY23. I think there has been a question that has been often asked, should we give samples and gifts to our shareholders? Again, I would say that some of you ask for it in terms of so that you can give feedback, but the reality is that the laws of the land do not allow us to do this. The gift coupons cannot be given to shareholders, as it's not permitted under the Secretarial Standard 2 applicable under the Companies Act 2013. And we therefore don't do this, but you will all agree that that doesn't come in the way of you getting really good returns from our shareholders in the form of dividends and price appreciation of your shares. With that, I move on to Mr. Sunil Modak. Mr. Modak, you had a few questions. You wanted to know what are we doing in terms of CSR activities in general, but specifically with respect to blind people. Well, our CSR activities are focused to in a few areas. We do a lot of work in terms of water and water conservation through our foundation, but we also work with institutions like Ashadan. We work with institutions like Ankur. Both of them have differently abled people. One is in Mumbai, one is in Dumduma in Assam. Ankur provides free special education, vocational education, and looks to rehabilitate children with physical and cognitive impairment. I think it's done this for over 350 children already. We had set up Ashadan a long time ago, I think in 1976, and have continued to support Ashadan in this spirit. It is managed by the Missionaries of Charity and provides shelter to over 350 to 400 inmates. What else? I think that was the question that you had. If I was to move on to Mr. Yusuf Rangwala. Mr. Rangwala, firstly, thank you so very much for the many suggestions you made, suggestions for improving our portfolio, for innovations, for expanding the range of Kisan products and soups that you see. And I'm almost tempted to make you an advocate of Indulekha as a brand. Frankly, if it is that good, then let alone bringing our prices down, maybe there's an opportunity to raise some of our prices. And looking at myself, I'm tempted to use Indulekha to see if it delivers the result. Maybe next year, if you see me looking a little different, I will join you in being the advocate for Indulekha as a brand. So, but on a more serious note, what you have said is absolutely right. Everyone talks about how powerful and how effective Indulekha as a brand is, and we are deeply committed to it, and we will try and see how we can keep it as affordable as possible so that more and more people can benefit from this remarkable product that we've got. But thank you very much for being such a passionate advocate of this brand. Who else did we have? We had, no, I think there were no other questions. It was, I think the last person to speak was Manish Shah. Mr. Shah, I don't know whether I should compliment more your poetry or your vote of thanks. Both were very wonderful. Thank you for that. I know I have been in the last 2 years in this chair as in this AGM as the chair of the board, but I have been as a member of the management committee and the CEO for 5 years, between 8 and 13, and I've seen you just as supportive, just as enthusiastic about the company, and we appreciate shareholders like you who inspire us and make us want to do more. So thank you for everything that you said and have done. So with that, I have done my very best to answer all the questions. I was furiously making notes so that I could capture as many of them as possible, but it is likely that I've missed a few questions that you had. I repeat what I said right at the beginning. I don't want, this is not to offend anyone. It is not being disrespectful. So it is simply the limitations, my limitations, either because of the quality of the connection or my inability to fully capture that. So if you feel that something important is not addressed, please write to us and we will get back to you. Right. Now, having said that, I'm going to have one sip of water before we move on to what is the coming to the close of this process. But I want to remind you that there is one job still left to be done. I'm going to hand over, that job is really the voting. There's an opportunity to vote on the resolutions at this stage as well. So I'm going to hand over the e-voting process to the scrutinizer. The e-voting facility will be open at the NSDL e-voting website for the next 15 minutes. 15 minutes to those shareholders who have not voted thus far, to enable them to cast their votes. Now, the combined results of this remote e-voting, which has happened thus far, which closed yesterday evening at 5 o'clock, and the e-voting just now over the next 15 minutes, will be announced and made available on the website of the company, on the website of the NSDL, and on the website of the stock exchange. And with that, I want to thank all our shareholders for your cooperation in the smooth conduct of this meeting through audiovisual means. I also want to thank all our directors, members of the management committee, auditors, solicitors who have joined the meeting. The meeting would stand concluded at the end of 15 minutes from now. Thank you all very much for joining, and I look forward to seeing many of you again, if not all, next year.